Hello,
I got the
and good
hype
evening.
music on for this one. We got some hype wrestler music going on for this one, but there is no wrestler that has a song, so we can use it.
I'm screaming!
It's not actual WWE music copy. We can get away with it. It's made it sound like that.
Is that how that's supposed to work?
We got 3 guys coming in down the runway as we speak. It just so happened that we're recording this episode the day after War Games happened. And it probably was the worst War Games ever made because it was really corporate and safe. Sadly, semicolon frowny face.
Wait, what kind of...
Black Ops 7.
But Liv Morgan came back. And that was the good part about it. And that was great.
Like 1984 Matthew Broderick War Games?
Well, that's what they call it. It's this 5 versus 5 elimination. It's a 5 versus 5 elimination match.
Okay. Yeah, so it's another wrestling thing. Okay, I didn't know that.
And that's what it's called. And the SmackDown before that was incredible. We got LA Knight versus The Miz, and that was exactly what I wanted for Christmas. I didn't even know that I won that match, but I did.
Lo and behold.
It was incredible. If you know who Liv Morgan was, you'd be very happy.
I do not, because I don't watch wrestling.
If we were a wrestling podcast, this is what it would sound like.
Thankfully,
and he started licking his butt.
I mean, Kyle, there's so many of them out on the internet by this point. I've been talking about this thing with JoJo for a while called the Kipling effect. It was an idea that was introduced in Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, that now the consumer has so many options that all the money and viewership is now spread across so many people that nobody gets anywhere with it anymore.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know,
which
850 is pretty good, though, we'll say.
Which is why, if we really wanted to hit it big, we probably should have done this before the pandemic, but we didn't know we wanted to do this before that point.
And now we're
here.
Still doing it, and we're still
a
making
passion
great progress.
project.
So
and all the NPCs and actual bots that were supporting 5th edition are all gone. And now we're just here with people that want to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm becoming less and less of an angry young man every day.
You just gotta get the giant hopium-filled syringe, Johnny. That's all you need.
Now you can become an angry old man.
You're gonna be an angry old man. If I was 25 years younger, I'd kick your ass around the moon.
After being young and poor for many years, I'm proud to say that I'm no longer young.
And
I'm old and poor.
Sorry. So we got Victor, who is our Plan C host for this episode. Greed is presumed dead, and so is Ryan. And we got a WesternHowler.
I'll be right back. I need to switch over or something. I'll be 1 minute. Keep going.
Laundry.
Yeah, Howler's here to be our devil's advocate. That's who she is.
I have no idea what this book is about.
Yeah,
I'm just here.
Victor's here to be our screamer.
Yes.
He's here to be the screamer.
Well, if you know anything about New England, then this would be great.
Yeah, we've been to New England several times. We know what this place is.
Yes, I've been to Boston at least.
We had the Boston trip there. We had the YMCA trip in Boston.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
We went to Providence, Rhode Island, and we snuck inside of a college. Nobody knew who we were.
Yes, we snuck into Brown. It was actually really funny.
Oh, let's go!
We were trying to find some place to eat, and then the door didn't say that we couldn't go in there, but a college student opened it.
Somebody opened the door. We walked in.
And we just walked right in afterwards.
We go inside. I look to the left, and I see a bunch of just like skeletons and jars and shit. Like animal skeletons, and I'm like, oh, this is a biology lab. We should not be here.
Here I was thinking this was more like a spooky, scary skeletons kind of bar. That was my first thought.
No, I've been to one of those. It's very, very
I was looking around the shop thinking, like, who do I pay? Who do I pay for a drink around here?
Yeah, and then we went around the corner, found the actual coffee shop, and it was just full of students on MacBooks.
Bro, I got buzzed off of a martini on Friday.
Yeah?
I think it was a honey lavender one. And dude, I was so goddamn buzzed, man. I was so friendly to everyone. I was just yapping to everyone. I went over to a Christmas parade and everything.
We got WesternHowler whispering about something.
Come on, we're starting the book.
Yes.
There we are.
Book o'clock.
We were planning on doing a Rage Cross Pennsylvania, but Sean is yet to RSVP us about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we need to actually figure out a week to do that. That's
although we might need just a date to have be like a summer trip instead, so we're not freezing our asses off in Philadelphia.
That honestly might be a good idea, and it might
that might be a better idea than what I've already got going.
Yeah. So
instead of shove the date in before Sean's wife has her second birth.
Baby,
yeah.
But like it'll be fine regardless. Like
All right.
Anyway, book. Talk about the book.
we begin on chapter 9, where it describes that New England in the world of darkness is filled to the brim with the Sabbat and the werewolves, specifically. They're everywhere.
This
Wait,
place. This place in
Well,
specific.
right now, there's been a lot of changing. First, it was the Tremere, but they didn't do well, so they moved out. Then the Venture took it. And then the Camarilla, then the Sabbat came because the British were taking over and all that shit.
True. And I'll get fully in depth with the history. Howler doesn't like this book. She said it was boring.
Maybe that's been too hard a word, but I say it was a drier read than most of the others.
You see, I appreciate it when World Darkness gets to the point, because it is a pain in my fucking ass to read a Mage of the Ascension book. Because I got no idea what's supposed to be factual and what's supposed to be opinionated, because of how needlessly flowery the prose is in Mage of the Ascension. We have everyone doing a two-way dialogue. Every single thing in the history section is highly opinionated. And the unreliable narrator is too strong in Mage. So I can't tell you what's what. There is a reason why we are pushing the Order of Hermes episode as far down the schedule as possible before we finally get to it. And even then, Kyle, we've had Dan come to us before about doing 2-part episodes. He wanted Karen's Place of Power to be two parts when there really wasn't enough content to justify doing that in Karen's Place of Power. But Order of Hermes, we have to.
Yeah, because
there's
just no fucking ridiculous to read.
There was no. You have options fatigue with the Order of Hermes. There's too much in it.
You can tell they were the what is it?
The poster boys for Mage.
Yeah, the poster.
Along with it, there was a massive overhaul with houses with the Tremere, where half the houses died and some of the houses completely overhauled what they were about, and then new houses got introduced. You can't do it all in one episode. And we get something very helpful on page 12, by the way. We actually get a population list of how many vampires are in each state.
That was nice.
There is
Oregon.
Whoa. This was before the British start flooding into the area, I believe.
Yeah, in 1895, this is what the populations were, and it gives you an idea as to what these were. So you can get a rough equation as to what the population of a state was back in the day versus what the population is now, and kind of scaled off of that. Because in 1895, Maine only had 20 vampires in it, and that was it. Small world.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was pretty
Vermont
wild
had
back
only
then.
9. Rhode Island had only 10.
And then New Hampshire had 18. Massachusetts had 60.
Well, Massachusetts
and even then, that was pushing it.
Yeah.
And then Connecticut had 35. So
then the British invade it to try and recolonize, and they're flooding the area and it's causing tensions. Because now there's too many vampires.
And how do you spell Massachusetts while I'm doing this math?
Now,
Kyle, you asked me if this book was supposed to take place in what?
In the 1900s? Because a lot of the information doesn't go much further past that.
You could. You can also assume that Warwick and everyone else was able to sustain power for that long. Because this book doesn't really go into details as to what happened when Francisco Domingo de Polonia took power, because that is a pretty influential figure in the map plot. As much as as many times as we bring him up in these episodes, you can tell why.
Yes.
But in 1895, Massachusetts had a population of 2,500,000 people. Was what it was back in the day. And if you want to know how many people they have now, it is 7,136,000.
That's a lot of fucking people.
As to how many they have now. So
a lot of people fucking what?
So if I were to take 2,500,000 and divide it by, what was our number, 60?
Yes.
So roughly one vampire for every 41,000 people.
Yeah,
that's the happy number.
Yeah.
Though that's not always the case, because that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the Sabbat and Anarch's mass embracing these days, so your number's going to get thrown off.
Well, yeah.
After all, the Sabbat have now started doing human wave tactics by just grabbing 12 people off the street and then shovel-heading them, getting what they can out of that batch, and then just throwing them at the Camarilla.
All right, so by the end of the 18th century, the Sabbat actually were divided because of the Civil War.
Yes.
And the Camarilla thought that they were doing better. They were beginning the tide, turn the tide. And then the
Right.
British arrived, and they thought, "Oh, you're here to help us, right?" The answer to that is no.
Because as
And now
we
there's
go
a
into there's a
three
civil war.
war faction going on. So now both the Camarilla and the Spot technically have a civil war, but the Spot in this specific area are one front, while the Camarilla are split between the American Camarilla and the British Camarilla.
And we'll begin the story with the history with the end of the story. By the time the Quentin King III would eventually start like losing some control over Boston itself, because that man is weak and it's always been weak. Andreas Giovanni would eventually slide in, and then that would be followed by the Tremere, no, not the Tremere, the Zamici slowly sliding in with Velia the Vivisectionist, who slid right in with his quote-unquote bride-to-be Elaine Cassidy, and they would take over for a while, and then in 5th edition, the Boston Camarilla has finally succeeded in this soft civil war, pushed the Sabbat out, and have now established the entirety of New England under Tremere rule, is how that usually works. So Warwick, Pendragon, and Baltimore don't get their way at the end of the story, but they did for a while. This was their golden age.
Yes, this was their golden age. It's the Gemini League is fascinating seeing the Ventrue and Tremere work together, but that's how much they hate the British. But then you have the
Absolutely.
Kindred of Liberty, and they're there to free the Kindred from the British.
Well, wait, hold on, let me let's start with the from the beginning. Let me go fully in depth with the history of this.
Got it. You go.
All right. Tell me guys what you guys think of the story as we go along. We begin in the early 16th century. We have a Gangrel Methuselah, who is never named, who comes over here with her 3 kids, and they embrace 2 Native Americans, and then they just go off in the woods, and then they leave the story as quickly as they came in.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
What?
They became medicine
that's
men.
Yeah, that's just what the Gangrel do. The Gangrel just come in, do what they're here to do, and then leave.
Well, that's also what the
Show up in North America, embrace a few people, refuse to elaborate, leaves.
What page are you
Yeah,
on?
basically.
And then we start getting to the real beginning of the story. Just for the only reason that Gangrel bit was there was to explain there have always been Gangrel in this area, but they don't really do much of anything until later in the story. Our first vampires are Europeans who are all British. They go over to New England. They are Tremere and Ventrue. Sorry, correction. The one Tremere. That Tremere is Madeline Coventry, where she was sent by the Winchester Chantry of England to establish Tremere territory. And it didn't go so well. She was looking around and thought to herself, you want me to establish a chantry in Massachusetts to bring in all these Tremere? The population here, it doesn't support a full Tremere chantry. Let me just do this by myself for a little while. The Tremere say, okay, just take the time you need, establish your territory, we'll send some people over when you're ready. Except she never got to the point where she was ready, because the Ventrue looked over and realized that there was only a whole one Tremere over in this place. So what they do, they just kicked her ass out in 1635.
Mm.
He was like,
funny.
ours now, fuck off.
It also is the show that the Camarilla fight with each other as much as they fight with everyone else.
The idea was, back in 1st edition, that the Camarilla wasn't really one world government like it became in Revised. It was just 7 clans all forming a non-aggression pact.
Yes, and that non-aggression is, I will give you the chance to run away.
And that's basically what it was. They worked with each other only because they needed to do what they had to do to survive. It was the same kind of relationship that Adam and Jamie had from Mythbusters. They did the job, but they didn't like each other. Who else? Like Penn and Teller. Like Penn and Teller don't like each other, but they have to do what they gotta do.
Also, this book also shows that the Tremere keep track of sorcerers and mage groups, because that's usually who they start their recruitment from.
Yeah, they keep tabs. You either need to be a very good mill manager, or you need to know magic for the Tremere to put you on their radar. And so going into this, Madeline Coventry flees to Salem. While looking around there, she finds a few people who are interested in witchcraft, makes them her ghouls, and eventually will sire, I believe, 6 of them.
Yes.
And while she's over here, she stays in power for about 40 years, trying to get back to where she was with the Ventrue. But eventually, everything's spilled over. Ventrue and Tremere conflict got hot. So she pulls out her copy of the Codex to quickly explain what that is. That is the grimoire amongst Tremere.
Yep.
That is their copy of the big book of thaumaturgy spells. You go over to this, you have access to just about every damn spell that Tremere know, up until the point this was published, back in, the 1600s? By the way, this was the most up-to-date copy at the time. She goes ahead, she starts teaching these 6 men and women these spells. She goes ahead and gets ready, but she ends up making too much noise, and then in 1692, the Salem witch trials begin. And
finally, there's Greed. Oh.
Hey, buddy.
Yes. Well, there we are. Greed has been summoned.
I will make this very clear. I was not asleep. I simply was not looking at the time. I was reading something.
So there he is. We were currently in the middle of the history section. We may continue. So after 1692, Coventry realizes that everything's blown up in smoke, that she needs to skip town. She goes further south and eventually sets up in... I don't think the land is necessarily given a name, but either way, she has to form another coven somewhere else, while some Tremere that don't make it in time die and are treated as witches, burnt at the stake that night.
In the Salem
and the
witch
Ventrue
trials.
look over and say, that's all his problem. We don't have to worry about her anymore, right?
Oh, guess what?
Well, guess what? That didn't happen.
Nope.
And then the early 1700s happened, and by this point, if you remember the events of Chicago by Night, first edition, you remember the whole story that there were a bunch of Brujah around that point, hanging out with Native Americans, with Menelay, and ever since then, they started drifting away. They started getting in contact with the Sabbat of the area as well, and just slowly began to spread out across the northern parts of the United States, going from what would be Ohio and Iowa all the way over to Maine. So you just had a bunch of wandering Brujah who were just in the area looking around. The Ventrue looked at them, and the Ventrue said, we don't need to worry about them today. We can just leave them alone today. And the American Revolution started, and the Brujah were looking at this, and they realized, hey, we got a revolution going on. They both turn and look at the Ventrue. We can side with these Americans. You look pretty British. And it was just an excuse for the Brujah to get into another heated conflict with the Ventrue.
I just love I just want to fight the. I just want to fight the Ventrue.
It just they're going to be at each other's throats until the end of time.
I don't care if I win. I just want the Ventrue to lose.
Let's be very clear here. The Ventrue and the Brujah, I think, hate the most out of all the clans.
Yes.
This is funny though, because there was a brief moment where the Sabbat actually thought about going to the Caramel, American Caramel. It's like, hey, we're both Americans. You're going to help us with the British, right?
Mm-hmm.
The answer to that is no. But the Caramel Americans also don't like the Caramel British, so this is why there's now a 3-way going on here.
Yes. I got a confirmation as to Ryan. He is cleaning the entire house because it's disgusting, I guess. So, by the way, that's what he's been up to.
Oh, these things happen.
Yeah. And Coventry, looking at the Brujah fighting the Ventrue, realizes this is a perfect chance to strike back. She once again gets her numbers ready, and behold, we're back to another war with the Ventrue. The Ventrue, not wanting to lose this land, calls up the British Crown, says, you need to start hiring a ton of German mercenaries, which they do. And because after all, Dark Ages time, the Ventrue still had this land. How many Ventrue are in Germany alone?
I am not.
a lot.
Hold on. Within this time period?
Oh, yes.
Oh, a good number.
A lot.
Yeah, so you can imagine just how many Ventrue would dominate in fortitude at their back, start coming into the middle of this war. The Brujah catch on to what they're doing. They go over to France, where after all, in a few more years, the Brujah are about to do something crazy and stupid in France. They call their friends, the French Brujah, along with the French Moldavians who want a piece of this, the Toreador, who they managed to Shanghai into this by telling them, oh, you will have the beautiful land, you have all the trees, you go to see all the snow, I want to wash my hair and face in snow. I don't remember the lyrics of the White Christmas song, but not White Christmas itself, like the song they sing on the train. I digress. And then they managed to get the Gangrels' interest in this, Only because they managed to tell the Gangrel, hey, the Ventrue are going to do bad things to you if they win. And that's how they managed to get the Gangrel over on that.
Now that's an interesting proposition.
No one cares about the Gangrel. Like, like the Ventrue give a shit what you're doing in the forest.
And then, but the Gangrel didn't know that. And then after this big fight in 1783, the Brujah, Malkavians, and Gangrel all managed to push the Ventrue out, and the Toreador did nothing. They just watched it happen.
They decided to go to the ball.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And the internal power vacuum inspired Coventry to immediately go back to Salem and start making a beeline back for where she was. But as it turns out, no. A lot of those Brujah, as it turns out, were Sabbat. Specifically led by a guy called Springer. And he had a whole group called...
Springer.
Yeah, Springer?
Springer.
It's spelled Springer, but it's pronounced Springer.
Yeah,
Jerry... What is it? Jerry Springfield?
Jerry Springer's Brood is what they were called. And they were fighting for a year, and then Springer suddenly died. Coventry was blamed for it, and Coventry said, I had nothing to do with that. Definitely innocent. And after that happened, every member of the Sabbat wanted to kill Coventry. So she has to flee from Salem again. And then while she's looking around from all the corners, she starts turning to Sarah Connor by this point, at the beginning of Terminator 2, where just anyone around her could be an enemy. She's looking around, she's got this look in her eye, she's paranoid, she's got her finger guns and her wands ready, and just anytime a vampire approaches her, she shoots them. And that's the whole thing. She's constantly having to fight the Sabbat, constantly being harassed by a Sabbat, constantly being harassed by Malkavians that think that she's evil and they're trying to kill her too. And while this is going on, the Winchester Chantry, you remember them, in 1795 says, it's been how many years by this point? Where's our Chantry? So they sent a guy called... Yeah.
It's like how the Malkavians, like, you have bad vibes.
We don't like you. You didn't pass the vibe check. We gotta kill you.
I don't like this female dog. Now, you see here, according to the Talmud, if you are a sorcerer, you'll rot in hell. So it's my personal obligation as a Jew to kill her.
Wait, hold on. This is safe for Christians. Hold on.
Yeah.
No.
As we went over the Malkavian episode, they embraced a lot in Semitic circles.
Exactly.
There's a very substantial number of Yiddish Malkavians.
Wait, did you just say
hello, my neighbor Hala Hadin? I know you want to blow me up, but you gotta admit, you make bomb music.
What about Islam? Wait, are you saying that Malkavians are Jewish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Vic is, at least.
Yes. And in 1795, the Tremere sent a guy called Baladin to finally get this Chantry project off the ground after Coventry has messed up. Baladin goes right over to Coventry, says, you've been replaced, you're fired, go back to England to get replaced. Coventry refuses, and the two of them start this whole magic war with each other that goes on for years. And Baladin ends up taking over in Salem after she finally gets chased out. She finally loses all of her blood, escaping him, and just falls into a shallow grave in the woods of Salem and goes to the torpor for a year. Baladin immediately gets to work trying to build this Chantry, but it begins to realize, wait, hold on a minute. This population is too small. I see what she was saying now. I want to rapidly expand my Tremere numbers, but I can't do that. There's just not enough people here. So once again, he calls Winchester and says, give me a minute. Let me build a place here. Let me get my number set up. And then start sending some guys over here. A year passes. Coventry rips herself out of the ground. Immediately runs back over to Baladin. They start a whole magic war all over again. And then this goes on for 30 years, by the way. Where they start... They have a 30-year...
determined.
Yeah, they have a 30-year magic war where Coventry has gone full Sarah Connor by this point. She's this one-woman army with this massive tome of spells, going in with all these different black, like, Thaumaturgy 5 black magics defending herself. As this infamous witch in the woods of Salem that starts this whole, like, voodoo, like, curse magic myth going on in New England. That's what this place is known for. And Baladin is just trying to do the best he can. Meanwhile, he looks behind him. He sees that Sabbat are coming after him as well because they think he's Coventry. And then he turns around and he says, who are you? We're the Malkavians. Okay, are you here to help me? No. And the Malkavians stake Baladin and kill him.
Yay!
Oh,
Yes!
damn.
Oh my god! Hella Malkavian W. Fuck yeah, man.
There's just so much shit going on here.
There is
I
so
would like to
much.
say
What the
here.
fuck?
I would like to say here that I wouldn't give that a complete W to the Malkavians. He was sort of busy.
And then
Well, he was a Tremere, so he sucked, so he deserved to die.
And then this whole thing started that, there was this Malkavian Sabbat union. Every Malkavian is compromised. We can't trust Malkavians anymore. And it resulted in the Tremere just looking around thinking, what's going on? Send more people over to England. We gotta revenge Baladin's death. It had to be Coventry who killed him. And then Coventry just keeps fighting until Coventry ends up dying alone. Then we...
Okay. So nerds versus schizophrenics is what I'm getting about.
I don't think we get a name as to who killed Coventry.
So what I can hear in this entire discussion, you should have just let the Ventrue stay in charge.
Yeah, that's like she dies in 1831 to an unknown assailant, and then and the Salem Chantry is then destroyed by Sabbat, and every member of the Zmichi was happy that day. And then what remained of her Tremere coven ended up having the few people she embraced that survived ran all the way down to Hartford and started an actual group of Tremere off of what were basically a bunch of refugee Tremere just doing what they could to survive by that point.
Good, fuck them.
That's all they could do at this point in time. They'd had literally everything taken from them.
And
consider yourself humbled.
And then we have a small calm period for about 20 years. The Civil War starts, and the New English Bruja, who are half Camarilla, half Sabbat, but they don't fight each other because they're Bruja. There's like solidarity between the Bruja during this time, and they're looking down at the Civil War and they're thinking, this is a crock of shit. We're not going to get involved in any of this. And the Ventrue look over and say, you're not going to participate? Don't mind if we do drag you into this. And the Ventrue send a operative to sneak through enemy lines, goes all the way to Rhode Island, and that operative kills all the Bruja in Rhode Island. And then every member of the Bruja and the Sabbat turn their heads and say, bruh. And then they all dive on the Ventrue at one time. The Ventrue slam the big help button and it starts smashing the button. Send some help, send some help. We swatted the beehive and now we're getting stung. It's our own fault this is happening.
I think this is actually where the Tremere get their one boon from the Ventrue of you owe us.
Yeah.
Hold on, this whole entire, I will make this very clear, this whole entire situation can be described as simply of the Bruja and the Ventrue and everyone else is collateral.
That's what it is. It becomes this massive shit show between the two. And then the Ventrue say, we need to actually form a plan here. We need some leadership. We're going to start a project, and it's called the Wingate Initiative. We're going to have 3 cities controlled by 1 prince. We just need to find the right man to do this. They spend 7 days debating as to who's going to be the big man that's going to get New England back under control. And it goes on for a while. They have this big list of candidates from Mexico to California to England to Germany. And they're going through the list, and Tremere going, I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy. Oh, let's do that guy. No, he's not experienced enough.
This one's too fat. This one's so ugly. This one's too tall. This one's too short.
The Toreador are moderating the whole thing. And then while they're scrubbing, the Nosferatu say, you're trying to decide a prince? And they come out with a big stack of paper, slap it down on the desk, and say, here's everything we've recorded since the first Gangrel arrived. Here's all the information we've got on New England in time. That spends the debate period for 4 more nights, and it ends with nobody forming a decision as to who the big man's going to be. No decisions met. And the Ventrue get chased out, and the Bruja just hang around with each other, and the problem solves itself when the Sabbat Civil War happens. And then the Sabbat spend the rest of that time fighting each other. Insurgents within Alhambra will go over to New England and establish themselves in New England and start a regime there. And then Zmichi shows up and kills that Alhambra, and then Alhambra shows up to kill that Zmichi, and then Zmichi kills that Alhambra, and it just keeps going. And before you know it, the Bruja just piss away 30 years, and nothing happens.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, nothing ever happens, and the problem really does just solve itself. And the Nosferatu just chill in New England.
Well, they set up later. They set up a web, but
they do. But we need to get to the guy who sets up the web first.
Yes.
Just to understand the story so far. Basically, the Nosferatu showed up one time. Here's some information, and just sat back and watched this shit show.
And that's what it was. It turns out the Nosferatu have been here the entire time. Just never made themselves public until that day.
Basically, I gotta find the gif of Michael Jackson eating popcorn now.
Yeah. And then the Malkavians, as it turns out, this land that was Camarilla controlled was controlled by Malkavian leadership during that time. Because after all, no Ventrue could get to this place because... Kyle, do you remember who was forming a pretty decent wall in New York around this time?
Who's forming a
Donald
wall
Trump.
in New York?
Well, not her. It's a woman, by the way, Kyle.
Be right back. I have to pee.
Jesus Christ.
So Danielle Trump,
No,
Rule 63 Trump.
I really gotta go back.
Ekaterina the Wise.
Wait, what?
Ekaterina the Wise.
Oh yeah, she had that big fuck off fight with that other Toreador, if I recall, right?
Well, no, she's the one that's missing her mouth because it got ripped off.
Yeah, okay.
And
I gotta go back and fucking read New York by now. Jesus Christ, we've covered too many goddamn books.
But yeah, she's here and she's doing what she's supposed to. And around this time, Francisco de Polonia was on her side during this point. And I'm trying to remember the name of the Samichi that she was working with. Come on. His name is missing from her wiki page. Damn it. That guy's name is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't say it. Either way, it doesn't matter because he's not part of the story. But either way, that's what it was looking like. No Ventrue could get past Ekaterina because that's not only is she a Bruja, she's a smart Bruja. That's rare. So you weren't getting past her. And Ekaterina, meanwhile, couldn't make contact with the Sabbat Bruja in New England because there was a wall of Malkavians that was keeping her out. So, so you just had this long point of deterrence where nobody could really accomplish anything during this time. And then, what was going on with the Gangrel in this time? Well, the Gangrel woke up one day and found themselves staring down the loaded gun of the Sabbat. And they said, "You're Methuselah. You're elders. We're going to kill you." And then some of the Gangrel died. Some of them got forcibly absorbed into the Sabbat, where they became country Gangrel. And then those country Gangrel would eventually escape containment. And they would start the tale of the Jersey Devil, the Flatwoods Monster, and the Hopkinsville Goblin, respectively.
I never heard of the last one.
Greed, do you remember the Pokemon Sableye?
I think so, yeah.
That's the Pokemon that was inspired by that monster.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then every Gangrel who escaped ran right into the hands of the Silverfangs.
Right, because there's werewolf territory right next to vampires.
And if they were not killed by the Silverfangs, they were turned into slaves. That's what.
Slaves is a harsh word. I mean, they spared their lives. That's very nice for werewolves.
I mean, you read the Kinfolk book. You know how they treat the humans.
Oh, Michael, come over here. This wine is too bitter. You bitch, and then just bitch smacks him like in Krynos form.
Spare the ones that turn
his
into
neck
wolves.
off.
Yeah, we can briefly mention the Silverfangs of this area. They just live in the Green Mountains of Vermont, and that's all they do. They just sit on top of the mountain and just watch all this going on, and occasionally go down and fight some of the Sabbat. Only when the Sabbat ever get too close to their territory. The other two people they hang out with are the Getafimers and the Shadow Lords.
Why do I keep on?
You know,
entertainment.
It's moments like this. This is why I like the Ancient World of Darkness. So much shit happens constantly.
It's like WWE. Just events just happen. Stuff just happens.
The Get should fucking love it here because the Get are known for prolonging wars just so they can keep fighting.
Oh, and given that the Getafimers are yes men to the Silverfangs, anything the Silverfangs tell them to do, they do it.
It's like, hey, go over there and kill those vampires. You got it, boss.
After all, Kyle, when we were going through the Werewolf episodes, when we first started the channel, did the Getafimers have anything negative to say about the Silverfangs?
Not necessarily. They think they're kind of over their age, but they'll still like follow them to the ladder.
Yeah, no. If I remember correctly. Oh, sorry. Go on, Howler.
No, you go, Ken. I've talked enough.
No, I was going to say, if I remember correctly, of the tribes that I know of, the Get are the only ones who reliably respect the Silverfangs.
The only ones, yes.
Them and the Black Furies.
If I remember correctly, the only The only problem that the Get and the Black Fairies had is, hey, these guys are great fighters. They're a little crazy, and we kind of wish they would be a bit more like, let us kill more. Like they're not letting us kill enough. That was the
Right.
main fucking argument.
And the red
And then
Talons
eventually the
just
Black
go,
Fairies
hey
will
kid, I
lose
heard you want
respect
to
for the
kill
Silver Fangs.
somebody.
I keep on imagining the Silver Fang, like he's like drinking like champagne.
Some Sabat gets a lucky shot to break his glass. He's like, "You mother," and just beats the crap out of him.
The thing is, I will make this clear. I know this isn't a Silver Fang Werewolf episode. The Silver Fangs still reliably, uncommonly produce leaders that everybody respects. It's not happens,
Right.
but some.
After the events of Dark Colony, eventually the Fianna would make a place for themselves here because, after all, who came over in buttloads to New England after 1900s?
The
Celtic.
Irish did.
Yes.
Well, Irish, Scottish, Welsh.
Yeah, exactly. And there's only one other tribe that hangs around here, and that's the Black Sparrow Dancers.
Well,
Only,
wait, the Wendigos hang around here, and there's part of the story that involves them.
yeah, there's a Wendigo that hangs around here. There's like 10 that hang around here, but they don't really have a sept or a cairn. They just have a little protectorate that they roam around, but you don't see them very often. And the BSDs hang around here only because wherever the Sabbat go, the Black Sparrow Dancers are right behind them. Only because the Sabbat will keep the Camarilla at bay. And when there's no Camarilla, that means the BSDs can do whatever they want in that territory.
Yes, 'cause
What the hell
Camarilla-
is that wolf? Ew, it got like radiation or something.
It
I'm
glows
staying
green.
away from it.
Just back
Yes,
away
because while the
slowly.
Camarilla are evil, they don't want life to cease to exist.
They don't
I
want
don't
murder
know.
machines
This
roaming
one's like
around.
touching kids or something. That's really disgusting.
All
Your
right, no,
blood
he's
tastes
hot.
like shit when it gets possessed by a Bane.
No,
Can I add a joke?
Victor wouldn't even go near that stuff, man. He wouldn't even think about eating it. That's like trying to eat a pile of shit, bro.
Kyle, you got an idea?
I'd break his jaw probably.
And now we get into the real story, the focus of this book. We begin with the proverb: the greatest conqueror is he who overcomes the enemy without a blow. And that was the plan with Warwick. We get into this tale of three psychos for this episode. We go ahead, let's get into this. Shall I pull up Warwick's picture?
Yes, please.
Now, the book revolves around these three characters once they get introduced. Because these two are the main characters of this book. In all seriousness. Let's go ahead. Let's pull this guy up.
I'm
think
still fighting off a sick.
They got the stats of main characters too.
there he is.
Yes, they do have his stats.
Yes. Honestly, this should have been the face character of the Nosferatu. Because Calibros really does not do it for me. I honestly don't like Calibros as a character when it comes to the novels in Vampire. Just between the big Camarilla 3, him, Ashley Sturbridge, and Jan Peterzoon, Calibros really is the weakest one. I honestly think Warwick represents the Nosferatu more than anything else.
His whole thing is that he knows all, sees all, and saws all. He trades secrets where they're needed in order to put the right amount of poison in the right wells to inflict the maximum amount of damage.
Mm-hmm. And this guy's whole plan is that he's waiting over here. We're going to get into why he's in America later. He comes over all the way from Switzerland, lands in New England, and says, I've got a plan. He makes contact with the Nosferatu who live here, who have been here the entire time, and he presents a plan. He pulls up the whole cork board with all the papers on it, and he says, I've got this operation. It's called Operation Longbow. We're going to completely take over New England. And all the Nosferatu look at that and say, hey, sounds like a good idea. They start very slowly. The plan is, to quickly summarize it, is that Warwick is going to gradually slide a trap card underneath New England. Once that card's corners hit the edge of the wall, then he's flipping it. That's how the plan works. So it's going to be a very slow burn plan. So just in case you ask yourself during this part of the story, where's this going? It's getting there. Just have some patience. What he does first is that he goes to Prudence Stone of Clanbook Nosferatu and makes a whole deal with her. They're going to establish something called the Web. And what the Web is, it's proto-ShrekNet, to play in layman's terms for it, Kyle. It's going to be every Nosferatu is going to talk with every other Nosferatu. Everything we know, we will share with each other, and we will have a file on everyone. Everybody's going to know who everyone is, and nobody's going to ever skip our radar. And Warwick is a big man in terms of his personality. You know, whenever it comes to moments of civil unrest within a country or during a war, how a big man will just appoint himself. This is the big man that they were looking for. He knows about the wing it idea, and he said, "You guys never appointed a leader because I wasn't around yet. I'm the leader that you were looking for, and I'm going to set this plan in motion." And so he steps up, and he eventually will accomplish this. And you've known these kinds of guys, kind of like Joseph Stalin, for example, or Mao Zedong. Those kind of guys.
He just decided to show up and be the balls of the operation.
Yeah, the only reason you're following him is because he had the initiative to do what he wanted to do. And when you have a big guy who's got the confidence, you believe in everything he's saying, he's starting to he's got the solution to your problem, you're going to follow him. And with the Nosferatu, what he was promising them was that they were going to be the dominant clan of New England, so the Nosferatu believed him. The Warwick is a little bit radical amongst Camarilla standards because this man is one bad day away from going down the path of Cain. He believes in Cain, believes in all the Antediluvians, and he says that out of all the vampire clans, the Nosferatu are Cain's favored because he gave them the best discipline, Obfuscate. And Obfuscate will be used to subjugate humanity's masses into the rulership of the Nosferatu. Is his belief.
Damn, he's ambitious as fuck, but he's not entirely wrong.
Absolutely. I remember I had a conversation with Adam from Dice Scum, where we're talking about vampire clans, and he told me that the Setites were his least favorite because he's seen other vampire clans do the cult vampire, the religion of evil vampire too. And I didn't have an argument at the time about that, but now I do with Warwick. Because Warwick doesn't necessarily sound like a Nosferatu, does he? Even though I think he would be a good face and representative for the Nosferatu, he sounds a lot like a La Sombra, doesn't he?
He
La Sombra
does. He sounds just like a typical, Sabbat elder, in all honesty.
Where he's going to come in, he's going to kick the door down, and he's going to establish himself as the biggest player in the house. And Vampire's a game where you can make any character work with any clan. Can you have a Nosferatu CEO? Yes. Can you have a Ventru surfer? Yes, you can do whatever you want with your characters. So with the whole religion of evil vampire, you can do it with anyone. You can also have a vampire act like a La Sombra out of clan. You can have these vampires act like anything. Is ultimately what the argument is. And that's why Vampire is such a good game and why it caught on so well, because you can have these characters be anything. You can play within the clan stereotypes, you can play within the clan theme, or you can be subversive and branch out of it, which is why I think I'm drawn so close to Warwick. Because he takes what would be typical of another clan and does it better than that clan. And he really does go to show that the Nosferatu really are sleeping giants. Amongst the vampires.
It is kind of...
Hold on. The Nosferatu aren't necessarily sleeping giants. Everybody knows what they're doing, knows not to fuck with the Nosferatu.
But it also is kind of indicative of the fact that the Camarilla is seeming to learn from their earlier mistakes. The whole reason that, the New World originally, imploded in on itself was the whole feud between Coventry and Baladin that destroyed their ranks and allowed and paved way for the Sabbat to just rule New England. But, having Warwick there and the organization of, Operation Longbow and the Web, he realized what the Sabbat was doing was working, and in doing so, decided to beat the Sabbat at their own game. And that's why we have a Camarilla presence in New England today.
And he would then go on to influence the Camarilla to do a small culture shift as well. Because you notice around this time that a lot of old princes that were in power on this book lose their power in the Final Knights. Because who become the stars and the faces of the Camarilla around this time? Jean-Pierre Zune, Ashley Sturbridge, and Calibros. Those kind of people. Where the Camarilla changes their mind and realizes that they need to go big man if they're going to survive the war with the Sabbat and the Anarchs. And the encroaching threat of the Kuei Jin. So you start getting really big personalities amongst the Camarilla that have very big, ambitious plans that fit within the realms and the borders of the Camarilla And that's why they make their names known, and that's why they make the progress that they do. That kind of shift.
Yep.
So Warwick is actually a really influential character, which is why I feel like he probably is one of the most important people in Vampire the Masquerade. Because this man accomplished way more than people give him credit for.
Well,
I mean, to be
that's
fair,
typical of the
I'm not
Nosferatu.
trying to take Sledgehammer to his knees. He only really conquered, in the grand scheme of things, a small territory, but he still conquered it.
And it eventually would flame out because Francisco de Polonia would eventually kill him, and that would be the end of that story. But, well, not even Polonia himself, but his men would eventually find their way over and take over New England. And then they would lose that land to the Camarilla if you consider the events of 5e canon, which I don't. In my mind, it's still small territory.
No, I'm sorry for saying this. For 5e to make sense, every vampire have to lose like 90% of their brain cells.
Exactly. If 5e made sense, you would have killed Theo Bell in the first chapter. That man is your Mary Sue. He is your little creator's pet, and I hate him because of that.
Yeah.
And, so going along with it, Warwick accomplishes this plan, by the way, in the span of 5 years. By 1990, he's accomplished what what he wanted to do. However, there were 3 weird things that got in his way, but he managed to overcome these things. The first one is that the cities lost natural gas. Alright, kind of stinks. Second was that a mysterious mist appeared that made the Purdian discipline Gleam of Red Eyes completely worthless. And the final stroke was the entire Providence Primogen would suddenly disappear, and he would need to fill those in with new guys. They may or may not have been killed by the Sabbat, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Now, what happened is that in order to accomplish his plans, Warwick got in contact with 2 big men after he established his web. Those 2 men were Baltimore, not Baltimore.
Blitmore.
Biltmore.
Close enough.
What's on my mind?
Fuck you, Baltimore!
It was Biltmore and it was Pendragon. Now, to very quickly summarize what their accomplishments were, Biltmore came over to a complete loser of a prince who was wasting everybody's time in Boston, left him as the prince, but stepped in as his advisor and did a better job leading the city than the prince himself.
Nice.
He's a Malky.
Yeah.
What is Warwick part of?
Hold on, let me be very clear. There are 2 types of princes in the Caramella. Those are figureheads and ones who actually have power. That one was a figurehead.
Quentin King III is just a leader in name only in this book. The city is actually run by Biltmore.
Wait, hold
Clan
on.
is Biltmore. What clan is he? Biltmore?
Malkavian.
Malkavian.
And the other guy is
true.
And the other guy is Pendragon, who looked over at all the Sabbat in New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, and he said to himself one day, "Why is nobody doing anything about this?" And he looked around and nobody could give him an answer. So Pendragon said, "Fine, I'll do this myself." He picks up his entire haven, moves it to New Hampshire, drops it there, and Kyle, like a legend, kills 90% of all vampires in New Hampshire. To put that into a solid number for you, there were only 4 vampires left in New Hampshire when he was done, and that included himself.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He comes in.
Game in.
Hold on.
Goes in, kills everybody except for 4 people, refuses to elaborate,
including himself.
leaves. There's so many Giga Chads in this book.
Yeah.
Pull up this man's stats and put it on screen.
But no, I'm going to give you those stats in a minute. But
Okay.
But either way, and by the way, he doesn't do this with anyone. He does this by himself.
Oh, dear God.
It's the crazy thing.
He's scary.
And then Biltmore just does a good job. Pendragon just does a good job. And Warwick does a good job. And they take over by just being competent. There was just one obstacle left, the Ventru, who did not want to give up their power. So what did Warwick do? He found out through the web what every Ventru's specific clan bane feeding type was, and proceeded to do a complete genocide of anyone that fit those banes.
Oh.
God. Damn.
And that included the ghouls of the Ventru.
God damn.
To the point where the Ventru had to say, "Stop, stop, stop, we surrender," and the Ventru got on their hands and knees and surrendered to the Nosferatu. Warwick said, "Your terms of surrender are acceptable, you now work for me." and that was the boss
God
move.
was it?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He then, after he accomplished everything he wanted to do within the span of 5 years, which is a neck-breaking pace for vampire standards, he comes up with the Zurich Accords and says, hey, we have this little system set up in Switzerland where I'm from. Here's the rules. Where the whole thing is, you will never see the big three, called the Triad, that being Warwick, Biltmore, and Pendragon face to face. You will talk to our ambassadors. You will talk to them, and you will respect them as if they were us. What they say is an extension of our law. You will do as they say. You are forbidden from talking to Sabat. You are forbidden from talking to any of the Lupines without our permission. You will not move cities without asking us for permission. You will do what we say when we say it, and if you don't agree with what we say, you can get the fuck out of here. Easy, right?
Yep, basically.
Pretty simple
And if
rules.
I remember, the Triad are all British vampires, right?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
That-
They're all quite British.
Because Warwick is British, but he lived in Switzerland for a decent amount of his life.
So basically what we're going with is that, Warwick, Biltmore, and Pendragon are just, the Jeremy James and Hammond of vampire.
Yeah.
Well, so we had this thing back in England called the Zurich Accords. Yes, actually, we're quite effective at curbing the power of the Ventru. Well, yes, and then we implemented it, and then we had to kill about 90% of them.
Bad news. What? The Ventru all died. Oh, no.
Anyway. Is that a Dacia Sandero?
It's been delayed.
I fucking love Top Gear, dude.
But I'll be honest with you, that's a very effective way without having to fist fight a bunch of Ventru, which, to be fair, would have been hard. Going right after their clan Banes, that sounds like a very good way to make them kneel.
Exactly. Through subjugating anyone who wants to rebel against them, through getting competent leadership, and through pushing back the Sabbat, they managed to take over the city. Except the British Ventru don't like that. So we have a bunch of Ventru from England coming over to try to dethrone Warwick, and that's the initial premise of what the plot is with Dark Colony. But before we go into any of that, what exactly does Warwick's New England look like? Well, for the parts that he does control, which is namely Massachusetts and then spreading out from there, he has control of Maine, Vermont, kind of waver, because you got Sabbat all over Maine, and you got Lupines in Vermont. But Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, easy schmeezy. That's actually, during this point of the story, the cushiest places you could live as a vampire, in all honesty. Because the whole thing with Warwick, you just do stuff that makes sense, and you can just live there. That's all I had to do.
I mean,
Really, that easy.
I'm currently playing through Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song. Matter of fact, I was playing it before I came on tonight, and yes, Massachusetts is probably one of the cushiest places to be as a vampire.
I imagine.
Because let me ask you this. Greed. How much does Loden suck to live under in Chicago by night?
Loden?
A lot.
Yeah. How much does Gustav Breitenstein suck to live under in Berlin by night?
A good number, I think.
That's some fucking ass Berlin.
It's also
Fuck Berlin.
really shitty that, like, Berlin... wait, I think I'm talking about the UK. Never mind.
Yeah.
Not Berlin.
How much does it suck to live under Marcus Vittel?
Oh, it especially sucks under Marcus Vittel.
Sucky. Very sucky.
Exactly. So Warwick being your prince, pretty good guy. Pretty good boss to have.
Just don't fuck with him and you're good. Easy peasy.
Yeah. Everything's fine. You just come in, do what you gotta do, don't fuck it up, and you're fine. That's all you gotta do. Yeah, you'll have to deal with the occasional Sabbat raid, but you know what? You knew what you were getting into moving into New England.
I mean, to be fair, that's basic living next to Sabbat territory. Get over yourself.
Yeah. Now, for the people who are resisting his rulership, you have two different factions. They are called the Gemini League and the Kindred of Liberty. Now, who are the Gemini League? Every British disgruntled Ventru and Tremere that hate his guts that want to see him die.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Which is it's very interesting trying to get the Ventru and Tremere to actually work together.
And the whole thing is that the Ventru and the Tremere hate each other, But the idea of living under a Nosferatu is so repulsive to them that they put their differences aside to work together.
The enemy of my
Ow.
enemy.
This is just what the Camarilla in general just do, at least
Yeah.
in first or revised or something.
And then you've got the Stooges, the Kindred of Liberty, aka a bunch of Brujah and Malkavians that named themselves after the Sons of Liberty that say, the answer to 1984 is 1776. And they just run around going, yeah, America. And then that's all they do. They don't really accomplish anything.
So they're proto-anarchs, basically.
Yeah.
Patriotic spirit that a lot of the vampires have. I don't know why, but I just like it.
I'm okay with that.
Greed, I know you love the Brujah, but there are no smart Brujah left. There's no...
I like the Brujah, but they get slandered so hard in lore. Give me a break, man.
Well, it's because after 1800, every smart Brujah was either dead in torpor or just sitting on their ass, letting their kids just run around and cause a mess. And every Brujah embraced after the 19th century has been a fucking idiot. Just not every one of them.
Look, man, you gotta let me have this, okay? Just let me have this.
No, they suck.
They used to be a really impressive clan back in their time, but their time has passed, and now they're just a bunch of degenerate filth.
We're sorry, Greed. Our job is to absolutely crush your joy and whimsy in the world of darkness.
All of you.
Well, that's a plot in of itself. I mean, that is the core conflict with the Brujah. We used to be taken seriously, and now nobody takes us seriously.
Of course they do, because you can't act like a bunch of fucking children.
Yeah, that's what the thing is with them.
That's why I hang out with a principled Brujah like Ragnar.
And then the last group you're up against is called the Crimson Tide, who are the 3 people that Pendragon didn't kill in New Hampshire, who fled to Maine, and have started a whole Sabbat resistance group where they're trying their damnedest to kill Pendragon, and they just can't do it.
Well, he's fucking lethal.
Yeah, that's what it is. And then we have the Lupines, where I went over them already. Then you have the Mortals, where it's organized religion as a whole, where they're not brought by name, but the strong implication is that there are a lot of mages here, a lot of mages in this area that are Celestial Choristers.
Yeah.
Really? No.
Yeah, that's a significant portion.
For some reason, the Mafia is fucking here.
Yeah, the Mafia, who are... This was first edition. If you were Italian, you were either Ventru or Giovanni. There was no in-between. But there are more Giovanni in this area that are slowly getting their way in, that are giving the Sabbat a ton of money to try to overthrow Warwick. Do they succeed? Not really. I mean, they had some territory in Boston for a while, and then their time passed in the 1990s, and now the Giovanni sit on a throne of shit. They have nothing to their names anymore.
Hey, don't talk shit about Sean. That's really
They
mean.
lost all their money. That's what happened to them. They lost all their money.
Bro, why are you being mean to Sean?
Just being mean to Ragnar.
Hashtag Italian Lives Matter.
It's not just the Arcanum.
Giovanni show.
Yeah, the Arcanum are also here. The group that accomplished and became fucking nothing in the whole grand scheme.
To summarize it a little bit here. There are hunters in the city. They don't care about vampires.
Yeah, what the Arcanum are is that they are like the Brotherhood of Steel. They know that magic exists, but they hoard magic and occupy magical spaces because they want nobody who can use magic to have the magic.
Incorrect. They want magic all to themselves.
And that they just hoard it.
You can use magic if you join them.
And once the collection is complete, they will destroy all the records and live in a place where there is no magic forever. The end.
No, hold on now. You're
horrors.
And then we have the witch's story. You ready for the witch segment? Here's the witch segment, everyone.
Yes.
Kyle's been telling me all month about how he needs to get some witch pussy.
What? No, I heard it's rather cold.
He says witch pussy's the best pussy. It gives a man 69 orgasms.
The only witch pussy I know of is the
6'7", 6'7", 6'7".
I'm gonna kill you,
Vic.
Vic.
That meme so much.
So getting into the story, we have the Order of the Golden Dawn. Do you remember that copy of the Codex that just disappeared from the story after we were just saying her name. I just forgot what it was. Either way, the two guys find it in the woods. Their names are Jeffrey Thorne and Nathaniel Gray, who just find this book filled with Tremere magic, copy the entire homework, ascend as mages, and become 2 warlocks that get all these different women, and they are having the times of their lives. They are getting so much pussy, Kyle. They're living in a house with 12 different women, and they're having a sex marathon every day, and it's awesome.
So it's,
Like,
it's
that's
just
That's
here.
Aleister
awesome.
Crowley's house, basically.
Yeah, you gotta love to be these two.
I have
And
2
then,
complaints. That somehow the Tremere didn't notice these fuckers coming in their territory, and I don't like that they're called warlocks, because that means I keep confusing them with the Tremere when we talk about them.
It's
Well,
because
well,
they
you
had the
gotta-
it's because they had the big book of spells. They were able to repel the Tremere, is what it was.
Well, you gotta remember, it's first edition. The entire lore is like a YouTube poop.
Yeah,
Don't
they were
think
still
too
working
much
it out
about
during
it.
this time. Yeah.
Again, it's the
And
Fun
of
Twin
course-
story.
Of course,
Yep.
all good things have to come to an end. The government had to say, no, you can't fuck all these women. You're fucking too many women. We gotta kill you now. And then both Thorne and Gray were hanged to death.
Wait,
But 16 years later, they came back as 2 different souls possessing the body of Samuel Bridgewater. It's the random guy they found off the street, who met up with his apostles again and said, hey, I'm 2 men in one body. And then all 3 men shared the same penis, and they went right back to fucking, and everything was great. Until 5 women said, hold on, man, how do we actually know you're the right guy? And then they left and became their own coven called the Coven of the Twisted Horn. And
Oh my god.
And they followed more like Order of Hermes magic because they kept their copy of the Codex. But then Samuel Bridgewater said, well, fuck it, we don't need that codex anymore. We're fine as the way we are. And our magic began to drift away from Hermes magic to Verbena magic, is what they were doing.
Started peeing
And
on things
then-
in the woods.
And then Sam Bridgewater
Real
died
quick.
in 1710. What you're saying, Howler?
They weren't just killed for fucking a lot of women. They were also killed because they did a ritual that was meant to harm the person, like trying to arrest them, but it actually killed him.
Yeah. As it turns out, you rolled too many successes.
Wait,
Yes.
so wait, hold on. In lore, they were just fucking all their female followers. You know
Yes.
why am I?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
like
Why,
2 guys,
why am
and
I-
everyone else was a female.
Yeah.
why wasn't surprised? Why wasn't surprised?
It was the combination of Destiny and Vosh as witches. That's
Yeah,
what it was.
they got the horse lolly porn, you know.
No.
He doesn't want to fight the horse. He wants to be the horse.
Yeah, so he can fuck little kids. I do not want that man anywhere near a ranch
and
or a
this, I mean, this is
school.
what happens when this is what leftism does to you. It just poisons your mind after a while. But getting back
Yeah,
to the story,
because you normalize
Sam-
porn. That's the
Sam
problem.
Bridgewater dies, and he uses a spell to transfer the souls of Thorne and Gray to another person. And then Thorne and Gray become transgender because they're in a body of a woman. And it just becomes a thing that they do. I'm not even shitting you. And they just keep passing the souls from person to person, and that's the whole plan. When this person gets old, we'll send their soul to someone else. And they have a high witch and a high wizard as their number 2 and number 3. And then one day, the leader dies. And the souls
Wait.
of Thorne and Gray are just lost.
Wait, hold on. I just realized they're the first transgenders. I have a female soul in a male body.
Yeah, that's what it is,
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
What the fuck is this book,
That's
dude?
fucking wild, dude. That's funny as shit.
Yeah, the souls of Thorne and Gray are lost forever in 1935. The High Wizard loses his mind, does the wizard equivalent of a public shooting, kills half the convent, and then they leave to become the Cloven Hoof Coven. And then as time goes on, the Nefandi find all 3 covens, infiltrate all 3 of them, and then all 3 of them become Nefandi conventions.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
so wait,
funny
so
as
we
shit.
have to kill them now. Let's go witch hunting. We can kill
Yeah,
them
there's-
more now.
As it turns out, this entire area is infested with Nefandi.
Oh,
That's
it would be
funny.
easier now. You're more obligation to kill them now.
There it is.
Yes.
Now we go into the individual character section, and this is what I want to spend a little bit of time on. I want to go over the big 3 specifically, the big 3.
I can't
And-
wait for the flash out.
Now, what's really fun about this too, by the way, Kyle, is that their sires are mentioned in these books too, and that actually plays really big into their stories. Kyle, you know, I usually don't do lore characters in my games.
Typically,
I usually don't bring those guys in. This
Would bring
has me
lore
wanting to use all 3 of these guys.
Really?
Well, they're kind of instrumental, I'd say.
Oh yeah. Oh, because all three of these guys are fucking chads amongst vampires, man. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah, I'm looking at Warwick right now, and Jesus Christ.
But let's not start with Warwick yet. Let's do Pendragon first.
Okay.
Now, Greed, you want to know the stat block?
I have a stat block, but read it for the audience, please.
Greed, get everyone who's listening, prepare to swallow your tongue as I list off these stats, because this is huge.
Do we need a picture
And
of
what
him
makes
now?
it worse of all, I just want to
yeah,
make
there
this
he
very
is.
clear. These stats are not even can be even more disgusting. They're moderate, and these how they did these shits was entirely just them. These stats are moderate. Everything else was just them.
So here it is. Strength 6, Dexterity 7, Stamina 5, Charisma 5, Manipulation 5, Appearance 4, Perception 5, Intelligence 4, Wits 4, Alertness 3, Brawl 5, Dodge 5, Intimidation 6, Leadership 6, Scan 3, Drive 2, Quick Draw 4, Firearms 5, Melee 6, Ride 3, Stealth 4, Throwing 4, Kindred Lore 3, Linguistics 4, Military Science 5, Occult 2, Politics 4. Disciplines include Celerity 5, Dominate 4, Fortitude 4, Potence 5, Presence 6, Protean 3. Virtues include Conscience 0, Self-Control 3, Courage 5, and a Willpower score of 8. So Kyle, to put this into perspective for you specifically, in our Las Vegas by Night game, Ragnar Ling, Sean's character, was operating at 2/3 of the capacity that Pendragon was.
Jesus
Damn.
Christ.
And you saw how strong Ragnar was in our New York by Night game. Pendragon was even stronger than that.
Wait, isn't this guy like Generation 7 or 6? I forget.
Six.
Generation 6.
Yeah.
Embraced in 1703.
And he's been around for a while, and his story is genuinely compelling. I really do like his story. His sire was known as Dark Selena, aka the same woman who approached Tyler, who started the Anarch Revolt and convinced her to kill Hardstep the Older.
Damn.
Same woman.
Oh.
You know what? Hold on. You know what makes sense? The Chad came from the sire. Makes sense. The Chadness came from the sire. That's where it started.
Yes. Now, Tyler's sire is not Dark Selena. That dude's name is Robin Leland. And we will get to Robin Leland when we eventually do touch Vampire Dark Ages. We just have to get around to doing those books first. We have a lot of content to cover before we get there, though. But,
to summarize here, and you thought this guy's stats were bonkers. Wait till you get the Dark Ages. You'll meet some busted vampires.
That's funny
Pendragon,
as hell.
his whole background was that he was a guy who was embraced by nobles in England. And this guy was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He was going to be something great no matter what he did. He enlisted in the military when he was 18 and went to, I believe this war was called the Spanish War of Succession. Was what it was called?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, he went over there, came back a war hero, and he talking to all these different men and going to these different schools, had this very Machiavellian approach to power. He knew what to say to get what he wanted, and he was going to have a top seat in Parliament no matter what happened to him in his moral life. Except Dark Selena approached him. During a period during a vacation in Switzerland, he was approached by a woman while he was sleeping who woke him up and said to him, "I am not the creator, I am the Baptist. You will be the one who will create a world where you will be the ruler. You will have all this power, and the world and everything in it will be yours for eternity." She embraces him, and her plan is she will turn him into her own version of Tyler. She will use him to start a second Anarch Revolt that will do what she wanted to do with Tyler. Tyler didn't have the stones that she needed to fully go through with what the Anarch Revolt was supposed to be, because they eventually flamed out and ended up in the hands of Los Sombra and Zamichi and became the Sabbat. And the Anarchs just didn't come around as a faction. What she wanted was that she wanted the entire hierarchy of vampires to be blown off and blown open, so she could appoint herself Queen of Darkness over vampires and rule for all eternity, aka the same plan that Heartset the Younger wanted to do. However, Roman Pendragon was not a fan of Dark Selena, and he hated her. He went over to Switzerland and talked with Gilam, who is a Bruja Incarnu, a very high generation Bruja vampire who just has no interest in getting involved in anything. He's on the same level of power as Mithras, to put it in perspective for you. And during
Holy
his conversations
shit.
with what you were saying?
No, for
Oh
Mithras.
no! I'm just saying like holy shit, bro. And he's Swiss too, so he's like the personification of neutrality, bro.
I believe
And
that's
while he's talking
Giammi,
to
however.
while he's talking to Neutrality Personified, Pendragon is having this conversation with Gilam, and Gilam just brings up the blood bond, and Pendragon says, "What's a blood bond? Did you not know what a blood bond was?" No, I didn't know what a blood bond was.
Lena didn't tell me.
He's been trained by Dark Selena for 60 years and was never told what a blood bond was in that entire time. And figuring out what this was, he goes over, plans a whole fake coup with Dark Selena that they're going to go in and they're going to kill Gilam. What it actually was that while Selena's about to go and fight Gilam, she's suddenly staked in the heart by Pendragon and then diabolized at the same time. But not all the way, because as it turns out, he was never explained that he could diabolize. He didn't know that you could keep sucking on a vampire's neck and get the soul. So
Oh,
he
that's
just
fucking funny.
so he just drains her into torpor, then just walks out, throws her into the woods, says my job is done, and just walks right back home.
Yeah,
Easy.
I know what
That went well.
And now there's a whole other angle where Dark Selena's body was found by we don't know who, but she was saved and put into she's still in torpor. She's just buried in a hole in the ground somewhere. We don't know where, to be used for a plot point in somebody else's game. But Pendragon goes back to England, and he says, I want to establish myself here. He's having to work with Mithras and having like rub shoulders with Mithras. And dog, in the realm of Vampire the Masquerade, London is Ventru City. They dominate that place with an iron fist. You do not get anything unless you're Ventru. And Pendragon had to learn that the hard way. Because he learned that not only was he never going to get promoted, but the Ventru were using Dominate to turn the degenerate Bruja against him, and they were planning on killing him. Pendragon finds out about this and immediately packs up his bags and goes back to Switzerland.
Yep. It's like, all these crows on this bell. Oh, look at this silly old chump. I'll get my little dog army.
And then we put a pin in Pendragon's story for the time being while he's in Switzerland. We didn't talk about the other member of the big three, Biltmore. It was nothing to do with the guys with the big house in North Carolina.
Fuck you, Baltimore. We sell cars that break down.
yeah, here he is. As you can see, he takes good care of himself.
Yeah, he's rather shaggy looking, isn't he? But he's the same generation as.
He looked like Robert Smith's autistic cousin.
Look at his hair. That's a wonderful hairdo he has going on right there.
He's like Robert Smith's
gothic.
autistic cousin.
And he's also Generation 6. His stats are Strength 4, Dexterity 5, Stamina 4, Charisma 5, Manipulation 7, Appearance 4,
6.
Perception 4, Intelligence 6, Wits 5, Alertness 3, Brawl 3, Dodge 3, Empathy 5, Intimidation 4, Intrigue 5, Leadership 4, Poetic Expression 4, Scan 5. He's got the full-blown observation hockey from One Piece where he can just see everything in the battlefield the minute he steps in. Sinking 4, Subterfuge 4, Carousing 3, Drive 2, Firearms 2, Melee 2, Ride 2, Stealth 4, History 5, Kindred Lore 4, Linguistics 4, Malkavian 3, just Malkavian as a knowledge, Occult 2.
Oh no! He knows what derangement I have. OCD! He's gonna cut a bag of rice right in front of me.
There's a card I'm going to flip with disciplines. Virtues,
I mean, to be fair,
Conscience 0, Self-Control 4, Courage 4, Willpower 8, Auspex 4, Celerity 2, Dominate 5, Fortitude 2, Obfuscate 6, Presence 3, Thaumaturgy 4, including Movement of Mind and Weapon Control, and Dementation 3. Now, how does he have that?
I don't know. Good question. He speaks.
I might have we might have accidentally fucked last night, so.
What
You know, I'm
happened?
not gay, but $20 is $20. You know what I mean? I'm a desperate man.
What happened with Biltmore is that he found out in the back of your mind there is a glass panel inside of your Malkavian brain that says, "Great prank, do not break glass." He broke it anyway, and in doing so,
Nice.
unlocked the power that you're not supposed to have, dementation. Well, the great prank was still in effect.
Speak for
And
the trees as they break your knees. The trees are
So-
actually demons.
So I
And
know
they're
what
Vietnamese.
you have to read the book exactly, but basically is through some convoluted way he was able to, being a vampire, get into the hive mind.
the hive mind of Malkav made direct communion with Malkav and unlocked this power.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty goddamn
To be
impressive.
fair
I'm not
here,
even gonna lie.
The only thing that, to be fair here, like every discipline, all you need to do is just go to the right people and you can get it.
You unlock this power. Now
Yeah,
his story. If you want to know what this guy's character was like, now this was before Death Note was made, but he basically has the same personality as L from Death Note.
Based.
Oh,
I
we're-
like this guy already.
He's very eccentric. Where
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
Eat it.
well that's light, but you know what we're talking about. Now the whole thing with William Biltmore is that he was going to be a powerful man no matter what as well. He was born in Wales in 1614. He was 25. He was already a very celebrated court bard. He sang the songs at all the parties. He was very well spoken. He was probably engaged to somebody's politician daughter, and his life was already put on ahead of him. He already had success in his hands, except he was into very morbid shit. Dead bodies, death, dying, violence, monsters was something that he was very interested in, and he wanted to become one. And if that was the case back in that
Cool.
time, you were considered insane. That attracted the attention of one Antoine Le Fanu, who came from France, found out about this guy in Wales, embraced him, and then William Biltmore's downhill spiral started from there mentally. And was this guy's whole Malkavian derangement? Psychopathy. That's his whole thing.
Boy.
He knows the difference between right and wrong, but he chooses to do wrong because he knows it will put power in his hands. Now, he's actually one of the more well-adjusted Malkavians out there. He has dementation, but he's not the I'm throwing my feces across the walls kind of insane that the Malkavian anti-tribu are.
Yeah,
With his
the fucking well in the straight jacket 24/7.
Yes, because he still has a decent humanity score. He's got humanity 4, which is
That's not bad
okay.
for a
But
Malkavian.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not
I mean,
terrible.
considering for like someone his age, that's a feat.
now, his whole thing is that while in Wales, he looked around as being a vampire. Antoine taught him basically what he was, before Antoine just cut all contact with him and just went off and did his own thing. He was over here in Wales thinking, okay, I'm a vampire now. I'm exactly what I want to be. What do I do with these powers? And he noticed that there was just one pesky group of people that kept getting in his way, the Ventru. And he thought to himself, well, what if I just ruin your lives? So he
Exactly.
just went around to the Ventrus, ghouls, and herds, and would just walk right on up to them, look them right in the eyes, and dement them.
Based.
That's all he did. He
That's
caused
Well, that is how
fucking
you do
rude.
that.
What the
Yeah,
hell?
he just caused a one-man mental illness epidemic in Wales. Was his plan.
Based.
And he succeeded. Every one of the Venture's associates went insane, and he replaced the Venture with his own men, is what he did. And, but by that point, they were looking at, the Justicars were looking over, and they were saying, nobody who's a Venture actually has their stuff together. This guy over here, William Biltmore, he's got himself together. Let's make him the prince. And so they did. And you can imagine just how much that pissed the Venture off.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
They're
What's
like,
happening?
oh, this schizophrenic is ahead of the game of us. That's
The
ableist.
funny thing about that, Victor, nobody
Yeah.
suspected him at the time because
That's
the Great
funny.
Prank was still in place around this time. Nobody thought that he had dementation because, by all intents and purposes, he shouldn't have that, but he did.
Exactly. You know,
And-
like, I mean, Malkav's kind of like Cthulhu.
Everywhere,
You know?
by this point,
Yep.
he's an abstract being who's the heir. By this point,
Yeah,
And-
basically.
And then at like 1890, the Ventrue walked up to him and said, "Hey, we found out it was you who did a whole mental illness epidemic. It was you who under my leadership." And Biltmore's response was, "Yeah, I did that. What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
What are you
Suck
going
my
to do about
balls.
it?" Yeah.
Yep.
And so what happened is that something caused a drought to happen in Wales. And the Ventrue used this as an excuse to say, "He's a witch. He's trying to blot out,
Wait a second.
get rid of the rain and destroy our crops for some
Question:
reason."
Why would that be? The Tremere witches.
Well, it's because he actually did have thaumaturgy. He had weather control.
Oh, he did have
So
actually
funny.
weather control as well. That
so-
could be it.
No, he actually did do this.
That's
And-
adorable.
And what happened is that a blood hunt was placed on him. Billmore's just chilling at his house, just enjoying himself. One of his men runs up to him and says, "Sir, you gotta get out of here. Somebody's coming to kill you." Biltmore says, "Someone's coming to kill me. Okay, whatever. I can handle it by myself." He said, "No, sir. You don't understand. Mithras himself is in town and he's looking for you."
Oh, okay.
I gotta go.
Different.
Yeah, when Biltmore heard that, he just whatever was in his hands just dropped, and he got up and he
Yep.
fled for his life with nothing but the shirt on his back.
Yeah, that's basically just saying, "Oh, I can handle a level. I can handle a couple skilled players. The end game boss himself is going to throw hands with you."
Dark
And he-
Souls music starts playing. Oh no!
And he just got out there as fast as he could. Mithras himself told his men in London, "Cancel all of my appointments. I'm not coming back to London until this man dies."
Oh shit!
Oh god,
And-
that's
I
funny.
do the blow.
So what happened is that Biltmore sailed across the English Channel to France. Mithras chased him down in France. And he continues just running day and night. Just every waking moment of the night, he's running at full speed. He can hear Mithras right behind him. And he runs all the way into Switzerland, where the only reason he's still alive is right when he's crossing the border, Mithras is right behind him. Gilam suddenly appears, puts himself between Biltmore and Mithras and says, "Excuse me, this is Switzerland. This is neutral territory. You don't do anything here."
Based. Based.
And Mithras says, "All right." Mithras says, "Fine." But Mithras puts an entire battalion of Ventrue blood hunters around the border of Switzerland, waiting for Biltmore to step out of the country so they can kill him.
No, if he had teleportation abilities like the Tremere,
His stats are good. His
Yeah.
stats are good, but Ventrue can fight too, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
you just gotta leave now.
And after all, it's a guy who's just been slandered all across England for being a witch.
Well,
So
to be
nobody's
fair,
on
he
his
is a
side.
witch.
And to be fair, I'll say this from Mitchell's point of view. Avalon, aka this is where that's what the name of the territory is his. If you fuck with it, you fuck with him.
Yeah. After all, it took the full force of the Second Inquisition to finally kill Mithras. And
Yep.
I hate that plot point though, but that goes to show that you had to send every fucking human imbued in England after Mithras to finally kill him. This is
Yeah.
how-
Were they imbued around then? Or-
by that point, yeah. And,
He
and like
didn't happen
from,
until the early
from 2000 to 2004.
Ah,
Yeah.
I will make this very clear. Mithras, you could probably hit him with ICBMs. He would still probably look at that and say light work.
This man has legendary fortitude. You can just you can shoot him in the face with a laser and he will not flinch from it.
Wait. To quote
dump an
Ronnie
atom.
Coleman, lightweight, baby, lightweight.
If you're familiar with Cars from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, that's him.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll make it
I
very
know
clear
him.
here when I make this statement here. In my personal opinion, all the disciplines are really good, but people really misunderstand how good fortitude is.
Yeah, because
Fortitude
fortitude, it's
is the
good.
only
It's
discipline-
boring, but it's practical.
Yeah, fortitude is the only discipline where you could say "fuck you" and walk out in the sun because you could just tank the sun.
You just tank it. And now we put a pin in Biltmore's story. We put upon us in his story again. Kyle, pull that picture of Warwick back up again. Now we get to his tale. Now with Warwick, he was a guy who was already around England during the Renaissance period. We don't get to know what his life was like before he was embraced, but he was embraced. He got, as it turns out, this man, from what little we know about him, is that he was an alcoholic in life
He was
who
a
had no real
privateer.
prospects and wasn't really going to get anywhere with his life until he just wandered into the hands of Trajan, who is his sire, who said, "Welcome to the family, son," and just brought him back home, made him a Nosferatu, and then behold, that's your new life. Easy.
Yep. Simple.
Yeah, all we know about Warwick is that he was a drunken sailor, and that's what his life was like.
What would you do with a drunken sailor?
I was just thinking
With a drunken sailor.
And with Warwick, Trajan actually did his job of being a sire. He told Warwick everything there was to know about being a vampire. He told him this, he told him that. He said, I have built something called the Web, which is where Warwick got the idea for his web in New England. I've built it myself. I'm going to put you in charge of it. Now, one day I want you to do this on your own. I want you to build your own web. And I'm telling you this because I think you've got what it takes to be a really good, really smart vampire. And because of the faith that was put in him by his sire, that is what inspired Warwick's ideas. Because his sire was constantly gassing him up that me embracing you saved you from your life that you were going to waste with just alcohol and like being a sailor. I've given you power, responsibility, and stuff that you would never have dreamed of before. I want to see you succeed. And because of that positive reinforcement, that is what led Warwick to become the man that he was that day. You see, this is what happens when you actually care for your kids.
Yeah, they turn out okay, actually. I mean, he was a murdering bastard, but he managed to make the best out of a terrible situation.
Now the web suddenly disappears. And Trajan, instead of blaming his kid for it, looks to see who actually caused the collapse. As it turns out, Antoine...
Oh my god, what a good sire. Wow.
Yeah, Antoine Le Fanu was the guy who destroyed the web, specifically because he hated Trajan and wanted to see him fail. And then that led to Trajan hating that man for the rest of his life. He was A-logging Le Fanu, stewing over Le Fanu, hated everything about that man. He looked over at Warwick and said, I want you to be my eyes and ears on this guy. Warwick said, can do, boss. And he went off and he did his job. And I don't think they killed Le Fanu, but eventually there was this whole ravel going on in New England. Something about a civil war, something about the Tremere failing to control New England, something about a bunch of unruly Bruja Malkavians running around, something about a bunch of Nosferatu who told the Tremere and the Ventru how stuff was supposed to be done in New England, but they didn't listen to them. So Trajan looks over at Warwick and says, you remember what I was telling you about one day you're going to rise up and become a good leader like I know you can do? Yeah. I know a place for you. And I know 2 guys over in Switzerland who are going to help you do that. He takes Warwick over to Switzerland, drops him off, and says, my training wheels are off. This is probably going to be the last time you're ever going to see me. I've got my business I got to do in Europe. You're going to do great. I know you can do this. Gives a little pound on the shoulder and walks out of his life.
He goes, okay, I guess I need to get my friends together and kill a bunch of people.
Warwick then goes over to both Biltmore and Pendragon. Now, the whole relationship between Biltmore and Pendragon, fitting that we were just streaming this in the server not too long ago, the coffin of Andy and Lele without the incest angle is their relationship.
Oh my god, JoJo's gonna be fiending for the shit. He's gonna look like Flight with his tongue sticking out like,
The whole thing between Biltmore and Pendragon is that the 2 of them fucking hate each other. They cannot stand to be around each other, but they cannot stand to be apart from each other either. Because they realize that they're both 2 men that have the same kind of goals. They're both really ambitious men that both tried and failed to do this on their own. If they were to team up, they'd be a hell of a team, but it's not you, it's me. I'm the guy who wants to do this on my own, which is why I can't stand to be around you. But eventually there's this whole cohabitation, toxic relationship between the 2 that begins to form. Warwick goes over and says, the 2 of you, shut up. I've got an idea. We're going to go to New England. And the kingdoms that you want, we're going to build them there. He wins over both Biltmore and Pendragon, and seeing that both of their plans were completely shot in England and Wales, decide that New England is probably the best they're going to get. So Biltmore looks over at Warwick and says, do I really need to be around this guy? Is this what I have to do? And Warwick goes over and says, listen, I know what you guys have got going on. Why have I told him you don't really need to work with him? He just needs to be a leader. You'll even need to see him in person. My point is that he's going to go fight the Sabbat in New England. You'll even need to see this guy. And that's what gets Biltmore's faith in Warwick. They then go over, and like I said before, Pendragon looks over at the Sabbat and realizes you guys have had 200 years, give or take, to handle this issue, and nobody's solved it. And Pendragon just pulls up his sleeves, gets a gun in one hand, gets a sword in the other hand, and proceeds to fight the entire war by himself and wins.
What the fuck, Richard?
Oh,
exactly.
Man. This is some awesome shit posting lore. Like, this lore is awesome, bro. What the fuck?
Like, to describe the way that Pendragon fights, it's like a Dragon Ball Z episode with the way he moves around.
God!
He's moving so fast, you think he occupies two positions at the same time.
I like how the Sabbat are like winning, and all of a sudden they see the bar in front of them. Objective: survive.
They see like the Dark Souls boss health meter appear at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, literally.
And he just runs in and then just gets you in a combo that stun locks you and then just kills you.
Yep, literally.
Like a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah, and then your character moans like, oh, and then you die.
And then some other characters too. They all have key characters that are connected to them. Let's begin with Pendragon's, because Pendragon's is the easiest one to explain. Let me go ahead and get his page up on my screen. He is a man with a very weird name. His name is Jacques Cirque. Now, how do you spell that name? You spell it S-I-R-Q-U-E is how you spell that name. I had to look up how you're supposed to pronounce that. Who is a character who is so fucking irrelevant, he didn't even pop up on the Google search.
I like his little picture there. That's like the most generic picture I've ever seen.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a page on the White Wolf Wiki.
He's got the Leon Kennedy haircut, and he's got like the dark circular sunglasses.
He's got the John Lennon glasses.
He does.
He's right. He thinks he's going to betray Pendragon.
Yeah, his whole character. Should we even put his picture up on the screen?
Yeah, why not? I don't care.
Well, I mean, he does look cool. I'm not gonna lie. He kind of looks like
Val
Kilmer
let
and
me get
Heat.
the screenshot up. Let's see, pull this guy up. He is appearing in my screenshots in 3, 2, 1. There he is. That's him.
He does look cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I got the census.
And so the thing is,
It says you're gay.
I am Jacques Cirque. I was in Brest in 1756. I am the Zark Triad personality vampire. I want the power. Oh, I know, like, I cannot have the power because Pendragon's too small. I'm just going to stew about it, and that's his whole character.
I'm going to bet my
Johnny,
it will be perfect.
you'll have to do French better.
It will be perfect. Nothing wrong. Nothing at all.
Wait, how the fuck are you doing it better than me, Kyle? God damn.
Because I am voice actor. Do you not know this? I am the perfect voice actor.
I'm the
amateur voice actor.
Yes,
and the two of them just hate each other. Like Cirque really is just his teenage rebellious kid that can't stand to be around Pendragon, and he just leaves the house as soon as he can.
Fuck you, Pendragon. I'm not doing what you ask me.
Dude, 5 hours later from SpongeBob.
Now, the whole thing is that he's the spy master, though, because even though he hates Pendragon, the intel that he gives him is reliable.
His last name is Squire. Just fucking.
Cirque is how you pronounce that name.
Oh, Sir. Oh, sorry. It's French,
so
right?
funny.
Oh no, I looked it up. You're supposed to pronounce that Q-U-E as a K.
Yeah, Cirque. Jacques.
No, count one syllable.
Jacques Cirque.
And take a look at this. Shall we go into? Let's see. Let's not do King Quentin yet. That's too much lore.
In this.
Let's go into Kurt Dench. Let's do him next.
Oh,
Credence, one second. Who is Credence?
Let's see. He's in here somewhere.
He was sired directly by. Oh, hold on a minute. Is he in Swansong?
Wait.
Huh?
Kurt Dench?
That game?
Let me see.
Oh man, let me copy this.
Where the fuck is he?
Let me copy this. I paste this
I haven't
into.
met him yet. I'm in part 2 of the game.
This is Swansong, isn't it?
The Gangrel? Okay.
Hang on.
This is
I can find him in the
I
Gangrel
have not
section.
ran into him. No.
No,
I mean,
no, no.
Nosferatu. He's in the Nosferatu section?
He's
Yeah,
Nosferatu,
Nosferatu.
yes. See, is
Public
he?
sign in the 1900s.
Why
There he is,
is there-
Kurt Gench.
There's a 3D render of him. Is he in Swan Song?
Hang on. I don't know, in all honesty. Let's see.
Bro,
Like I said,
that
bro
actor's
look
in-
like
Yeah, he is. He's in Swan Song. Yes.
He's in what?
Where is he?
I've
When does he
gotten
appear?
that far. Hang on.
bro look like my like the
Hang on, I
average
need to-
crackhead uncle, dude.
Well,
What the
well,
fuck?
well, Kyle, you're due to meet him soon.
Oh,
Alright.
that's gonna be interesting. I'll get to see if he's lore accurate.
All right. So the whole thing with him, he was a cop in Berlin in the 1990s, and in 1911, it was the day that he quit. He was scheduled to protect a parade that he felt was a complete waste of his time. While that parade was going on, there was a 7-hour-long hostage situation in which a man killed a woman and her child. And
Holy shit.
Dench went over and said, instead of me wasting my time on this parade, I could have gone and solved this case. This isn't what real justice is supposed to be. I quit. And the chief tells him, oh, it's funny that you quit because we're going to fire you anyway. And then Dench goes, leaves, becomes an alcoholic, just drinking away all of his money in Berlin, and thinks to himself, I can either die drunk in Berlin or I can try to piece myself together in America. He illegally immigrates to America, becomes a drunkard in Boston, and while he's just stumbling around drunk one time, he sees a woman who's about to get gangbanged by a bunch of, by 5 guys. He goes in, intervenes, gets his ass beat, almost beaten to death, and when he wakes up, he's in a sewer, and a Nosferatu is staying over him, saying, I just gave you my blood, you're about to die. That Nosferatu was Warwick.
Mm.
And he picks him up, and for 60 years, Dench works with him. Dench has a good sense of justice, and Warwick looks at him and says, you know what? You're a righteous man. I like the way you operate. Let me go ahead and let me embrace you. 60 years of service. Oh, sorry, I got my numbers mixed up. 13 years of service is how long he works for. Sorry, I got my numbers mixed up.
You're fine.
Yeah, after 13 years, he gets embraced, and Kurt Dench is actually one of the few truly virtuous characters in all of Vampire the Masquerade.
Based.
He's got this very strong sense of right and wrong. He wants to do the right thing, and he knows that he's living in a world of moral grays, because after all, he's a vampire. He has to hurt people to sustain himself, but he's not going to kill them. And he just goes around as Warwick's key enforcer, making sure that his laws are obeyed. He's Warwick's mouthpiece, so to speak. To put it in perspective as to how good of a guy he is Humanity 8, by the way.
Oh, damn. He's
Wow,
actually
shit.
really close to Wakanda.
He is. And
That's cool.
Every time you say that, I hear Wakanda. Fucking Christ.
he is. Wakanda is
Wakanda.
real, yes. and now we get to the really, really lore heavy character, Quentin King III.
Yes,
Where-
I love this fucker.
Now, to fully explain his story, we need to introduce 7 other characters into his story as well.
Do we really?
Oh
I
my
think only
God.
he needs explanation. He's
Well, the 6 knights have to be brought up.
fine. Good background.
Kyle, here's his picture. He does not look very impressive or tough, does he?
No, he does
Yeah.
not.
He looks like he's about to cry.
He kind of does,
He does.
actually.
And
All the
Look,
time I was
look,
researching
I
Warwick,
just
I
wanna
forgot
say
to
this
put
real
Warwick's
quick.
picture up on screen. I'll put Dench's character up on screen just real quick.
I
just so you
get
can see
it. These characters are well made. These characters are all well made to the point that even you who don't like to use them would use them in the games. I
Yeah.
get it, but we can't go over all of them.
well, we can go over most of these. I agree. Don't worry about it.
All right.
So here's
Oh, we got time.
Quentin King, and put him up on the screen, Kyle.
Yeah, I got him up.
So this guy was a police investigator from New York back in the back when America was still a fresh country, and he was hunting a serial killer all the way into New England. He slipped through his fingers and he said, I am going to raise a citizens awareness meeting, and we're going to all have an active manhunt for this killer. And everybody rides behind him. That killer, by the way, his name is Nathan
Scarvan.
Scravan. who
Yeah.
is a complete fucking psychopath. This guy makes your skin crawl. He's looking at King doing this, and he says, "Huh, this guy thinks he's King Arthur or some shit. Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute."
Always leave it to the Malkavians to come up with the most. Oh, King Arthur.
He thinks to himself, Scraven just thinks to himself, I just thought of the funniest shit I could ever do to somebody. Now let me do it.
And
He
oh my God.
he puts a little lure in a string, gets Quentin King to chase after him. He then catches Quentin King, beats him half to death, drains all of his blood, embraces him, throws him into a 6-foot deep grave, and then puts a fresh dead body that he gutted on top of the
I think
grave.
it was a child's body too.
It was. King then spends the next 4 hours trying to dig his way out of his own grave, and once he does, immediately devours the body of what he thinks is a freshly killed kid that he killed, and then to top off the joke, Skirvan is looking at him, laughing his ass off the entire time, and then finishes the joke by ripping his head off and throwing it at King.
Yes, he commits suicide just to fuck with this man.
Yes. And then, in the process,
Malkavian.
King then
Yep.
not only drinks all the blood out of his head, but then runs over to his stump and then drinks the blood out of the stump and ends up diabolizing him. And
Isn't that funny?
He has Skirvan's soul inside of him. Not so Skirvan can take over, but so Skirvan can just live in his eyes and watch what the next 100 or so years are going to look like.
Now his 6
Now
nights.
the joke makes sense.
But no, the joke isn't even over yet. Because what comes out of the woods? 6 Malkavians that all step out at the same time and look over at him and say, there he is, that's our king. And they all point over at Quentin King. They all kneel down before him and say, you must knight us. Here is Excalibur, and Excalibur is a butter knife. And by this point, Quentin King, his mind is thoroughly broken by this point. He is laughing maniacally with tears in his eyes as he knights all 6 knights. And they become the 6 knights at the round table. And Quentin King, his mind regresses to a point where he believes that he is King Arthur.
Yes.
And that's what happens to him. And King Arthur in this case is actually a puppet king. Because of just how traumatized and fucked up this man's life is, he never really has the strength or the conviction to actually run his city the way he's supposed to. This man was getting his ass kicked around the curb by the Sabbat. And it took Biltmore, a guy who stepped in and said, what kind of prince do you think you are? I know how to run a city better than you. Where he stepped in. He was going to give the princedom to Biltmore, but then Biltmore said, no, I actually don't want the title. You stay here, you can be the prince in name only, and then I will be the one that truly runs the city. And now King Arthur is this puppet on a lonely string, now a member of a story that he didn't want to be a part of, living in a life where his entire day in, day out is just eternal torment.
I cannot live. I cannot die. Trapped in this hell. Trapped by my only self.
And that's his thing.
It's a Metallica song. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. One.
And so you know how bad he's doing? He's Humanity 4. That's where he's at.
Damn.
He ain't doing so well. But hold on, man. We also got to talk about the 6 knights. Do you get a picture of all 6 knights? No, you get a picture of this. The hands.
God
Now-
damn.
One finger.
Now what happened with this is that the 6 knights were 6 people that lived in an insane asylum during the Middle Ages. They were
Fucking terrible.
They were 5 men and 1 woman who just got the shit beaten out of them day in, day out by the orderlies until a black knight in armor charged in and saved them. That knight was Skirvan, who then took them back to his castle, gave them all a kid to eat as their first meal, and
Oh
then
my
they became
God.
his ghouls, where he proceeded to just mind break the 6 of them and just make them his live-in slaves that were just fanatically devoted to the Black Knight as his squires. And it was all part of a joke where Skirvan decided to cash in his joke with Quentin King III. And then they were properly knighted, and now they dutifully serve Quentin King hand and foot, but they all are pretty weak by vampire standards. But, there's a lot of them. And this was the groundwork for what would eventually become Clan Blood Brothers, by the way, Kyle.
Oh,
Wait,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
wait, because hold on, if you look at their stat line, it's combination discipline.
Yeah, the combination discipline. They all 6 of them share the same mind, by the way. That's their illusion.
So it's the Sisters of Fate, then.
They all speak in unison, and they all think the same things.
Oh, it's the Pleasant Children from fucking Kids Next Door.
Yes.
Oh, that's a
Well,
that image is
Deep
not in my
cut,
head.
isn't it?
Yeah.
To clarify, the Pleasant Children, even though they all act as one, they're all individuals. It's weird. They got all separate.
and
No, they
that's what
don't. I don't believe you. I don't care what images you show. They're jointed twins.
No, it's even shown in one of the episodes during Kids Next Door that one of them leaves, then comes back to join the hive mind again.
Lies.
And then, shall we talk about the gangrel of the local area?
At
Oh,
least
right, Gangrel.
Mowgli.
Yeah.
We got Batista de Camerone is his name.
Let me see if I fucking... Oh, wait, no, that's the bot. Never mind. The fuck is he?
Let's see.
Listen, whenever we just get to the escape slave, I want to do that one.
Damn it, we don't have a picture of him. Hang on, man, I gotta take the screenshot. How are you read about this guy?
gotta
Right?
take the screenshot.
Batista de Camerone.
Wait, he's not there. He's not in the Gangrel. I'm just saying he's in the Bruja. Of course he is.
Let me just go ahead. Let me post. Get this picture up for you. Screenshot loading, and there he is. There's his picture. His
There
granddad.
I like his sweater that he's in.
His
Yeah,
granddad.
He's wearing a Bill Cosby sweater.
Oh, what the gangrel and the protein? You know what I'm talking
Thing
about.
about the gangrels that they do all this gangler stuff out in the woods.
And he was a homeless man, a homeless orphan, in Leche, I think it's how you say the name.
Yes.
Who's basically cousin Oliver, or the Artful Dodger was basically his character, who was then captured and sold into slavery by the Spanish, and he's been around for a while, since like 1528 is how long he's been around. And he was forced to sail out on these ships as a cabin boy against his will. He sailed around the world. He went to Colombia. He lived there for 13 years with a guy called Pexi Kujati, who was a gangrel who lived in, I think it was a gangrel, who was Aztec. And he lived in South America for that time.
Cool.
He fell in love with a native woman. He fucked her silly for 2 years. And they shared a humble little thatched roof where he get to live as a tribal. And then his wife and child died of smallpox.
Oh man.
Oh,
He just had a
with the
fucking
added to it,
rough
he is
time.
what brought the smallpox to them.
Yes.
Man, that's sad. He got that native pussy and then he accidentally killed her.
And then for 2 decades, he just wandered around the world, just slowly going north until he found himself in Massachusetts. And then while he was looking around, a Native American kindred who was about to run out of blood just ran up to him and said, "Hey, I gotta pass this blood on to somebody. Do you want some blood?" And he said, "Sure." And he just got embraced by the guy.
I mean, what the fuck
then-
else is he gonna do? He's probably... You don't got much reason to do anything else after that.
And then he just woke up again, but then he realized he was alone, just as a vampire now. And he just hung around this area until the pilgrim showed up. And then he said, "Hey, it'll be cool for me to talk to these guys. And you guys are like a religious cult. You guys are a little bit weird. You remind me of my Spanish slavers." And he just took a step away from them and just decided he would rather just watch humanity. He really yearns for companionship, but he doesn't want to interact with people because he's scared of humanity. And
I don't blame him.
He's
I
been
can
through it
relate
out.
to
Yeah.
that.
and he says he's trying to find Golconda because he's got nothing else to do but try to find enlightenment now, like just to find some purpose in
Hey,
life.
same twin. Look at that.
And that's all he's really doing.
What up, twin? I be thuggin'.
And that's it. He's just a sad granddad who's just trying to find some reason to keep going.
This is one of the
Okay.
reasons. This is why even though people keep saying that the gangrel ain't that interesting, I don't care. They're one of the most base clans. Why? Because they realize this is all bullshit and just choose to live by themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, it's just so much better that way. Nobody listens to me when I tell them that.
Yeah,
How
exactly. That's why I'm your roommate now.
Because for fuck's sake, with the White Wolf wiki, none of these guys have only half the characters
Nope.
in this book have wiki pages.
Dude,
Let's go. Howard, did you want to cover Pug Jackson?
Oh my god. Wait, are we on to the Bruja? Because I'm pretty sure he's.
Yeah. Let's do him.
Oh my god.
So here he is.
Keep using White Wolf Wiki. You know
So,
that thing is shit.
technically, this guy shouldn't technically be a Bruja because I'm pretty sure that the vampires in Africa have their own fucking names and shit.
They do. They call the Libon.
Diosebo.
Yes. Well, okay, so.
I thought it was called the Libon.
The individual Bruja of the Libon is called Diosebo.
Okay, so he was turned. He was embraced in. I can't pronounce that word in Africa as part of the Musai Empire.
Ouagadougou.
He was enslaved by a white Ventrue from America only 6 years later.
Come on,
And this is where I learned that vampires had fucking plantations because he was bloodbound to the overseer, and the overseer was bloodbound to the headmaster. And this is the fucking shit. What the fuck were they doing on a plantation? Were they working the night shift or something? Right? The humans were the day shift. And he manages to escape when one of the overseers tries to escape, takes that opportunity. He goes to wait a minute. He goes. Where did he go? Where did he fucking go? He went to Boston, North Boston, and that's where he found his mentor, Turner. Yeah, that Turner, of course, that's his fucking name. Where they had their own
Turner.
kitchen. Yeah, where black people and Hispanics can be safe, normal mortal blacks and Hispanics. This is a very we're protecting the people and shit.
What the fuck is it with first edition vampire and black people? With specifically Bruja.
Oh my god! Oh no! Ask JoJo. Ask King. King, what's with it, bro?
You want to get hurt?
Yes.
Oh god,
I'm a
no.
masochist.
Okay, so this is until the Civil War, where of course the black Bruja Turner just couldn't resist to go fight for human rights in the Civil War to protect the poor black folk in the South. But he dies there because he never comes back. Jason ends up inheriting the kitchen. That's what it is. And again, and it was all great. And he was he created a brew that lived off the wealth created by mortal black gangs in the area.
Oh my god.
And then the British came along. Despite the fact of the matter that the British were nowhere near as racist towards black people as the Americans.
That is
they
true.
didn't do segregation, but for some reason, these British really just fucking hate black people. And I guess they start just beating the shit out of the local vampires. Which is what eventually gets him to join the Kindred of Liberty.
Oi mate, what incarnation of these fight people here? I gonna beat the shit out of them.
And of course, he only really trusts the African American Brujad before anyone else, and that's his shit.
and there we go. That's first edition vampire for you. Just Bruja or black.
I guess.
I lost my mind when I learned that he was taken to a plantation. What the fuck is a vampire doing with a plantation?
Look here, he may have been a very obvious and not at something, but it was funny.
You broke Johnny.
It was funny.
Oh man. All right, let's wash out of our mouths with Elsa Linden. Let's go into her next. All right. She is our one and only Toreador, by the way.
Yeah, they really don't come up a whole lot in this book.
It's Brittany, bitch.
So her backstory is that she was just chilling by herself learning classical music, and then just two strangers visit her mother's house, Annabelle Triabel and her sire Maria. And like puppies from a farm, anything can be bought and sold with the right oil. They just go over to the mother and say, "Hey, can we just have your daughter?" And the mother says, "Yeah."
What
So
the
they take
fuck?
her.
Well, that was kind of the thing, I think.
You act like that's a weird thing, but in this world, that's actually, well, in the time period, you can just basically buy children in a sense.
And
Also
she
based
just,
JonTron reference, thank you.
yeah, she just ends up in the care of these two women that she doesn't know. Gets embraced years later when she's like they're smart enough to not embrace a child. They know like you've got to like age up a little bit before we embrace you. Because I think we finally broke the trend of kid vampires in these books.
No, it didn't.
Fine. Wait, no.
And around the time she shows this whole relationship of we gotta leave New England. I don't want to leave New England, and that's the whole back and forth they have with each other.
I want to leave New England. Why are you going to? Why won't you adopt me? Because you're.
And then she ran away from her two mothers after a bunch of lupines hopped out of Green Mountain and said boo, and then chased her away. She ran all the way to Massachusetts and ended up in Cape Cod. And then she was finally away from those two horrible women who bought her and just chilled out there.
That sounds about
And
right.
then when everything was going on, the British Malkavians in Boston looked at her and said, hey, you write music? Yeah. Okay, we'll just leave it alone then, and just left.
Oi, mate. I mean, it's just crazy.
And then,
Is that right, Victor?
I don't even know what the hell you're even saying, but I agree with it.
and then when Operation Longbow was going on, Lyndon was the only smart Toreador during that whole thing, and she just decided to just stay out of it. She just wanted nothing to do with it. I'm just going to make my music in Cape Cod, and nobody's going to do anything about me, and I'm just going to be fine. And then, as it turns out, Bitmore ended up destroying a piece of art that she really liked. She flew into Biltmore's face and said, what the fuck were you thinking destroying that piece of art? Her and Biltmore got into this massive fight. Biltmore pushed her away, leaving her just like finish out her frenzy in the middle of the street, slamming her fist into a door. And then she's looking at this. She's on good terms with Quentin King and really wishes that Quentin King would, nut up, be a man, and quit listening to everything Biltmore says. That's her whole connection to this.
That's a tall order, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And she's a revolutionary who's helping the resistance, but she hasn't taken a side in it. She's just hoping the Camarilla can come in and just kill Biltmore specifically because she ruined her favorite art piece.
Typical Toreador strategy. Someone ruins something you like, I hope they die.
And that's the whole thing with her. Let's see.
Yep.
Should we even go into the Tremere and Ventrue individually in this book? Because
there's only one, I think, and he is the founder of the Gemini League.
Should we go over John Reese?
Well,
I mean,
yes and no. You could skip him because the other Tremere don't even like him either. Even more so than
it's more
normal
like
Tremere he's a failure.
Usual Tremere shit is what you get with John Reese.
Yeah, but he's so bad that they're thinking about just like getting rid of him because he's just a failure at this point. Like you need to be replaced.
Well, that's what happens when you embrace nothing but mill managers.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Good old Ventrue.
And then we got should we do Upton Rollins then?
I guess. I don't know.
I'm the posh British man, and I came down from Georgia to find out that this place looks like shit, and that's my character.
Oi, mate, this place is a little bit shite.
He also
I
discovered
think
that
I'm going to
Giovanni.
sign the paper.
Let's take it. Let me show you what he looks like. Let me just pull up the screenshot.
He's got big fucking teeth. If he doesn't, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Here he is.
Oh god, I want him to just have these big goofy ass donkey
his
teeth.
mouth
It
isn't
would be
open, so we
funnier.
wouldn't know.
He looks a little bit like John Cena.
Banana fudgy mustard. My life has been ruined by the interwebs.
So the only reason why he's here is that there's a whole plot point going on with him specifically involving the Giovanni, where he's saying, "Oh man, I'm trying to have a war here with my Gemini League, and the Giovanni won't get in my way." And that's his whole plot going on, is that he's going back and forth with the Giovanni that keep trying to derail his efforts to lead the Gemini League. That's it, really. There's nothing really happens.
Nothing really comes of that.
Nothing really happens with him. We get only. Well, I said there were no kid Ventrue and kid vampires. As it turns out, I lied.
Yep, you lied. I
lied.
Now, hold on, let me say this very clear. Let me say this very clear. Despite what Johnny says here in the hyperbole, just because there's a child vampire doesn't mean oh shit, it's about to get sexual in here. No,
it's not. It's not. That's where I was going with that
Christ,
whole. That's
no.
not it. But
okay.
Let me pull up a picture of him. Let me see. You read the Jungle Book once upon a time, didn't you, Kyle?
Yes, I did. Well, I watched the movie a lot when I was a kid.
I were there. He is a Smokely.
Yep.
I thought it was a girl
in his plaid flannel shirt.
There it is.
Hold on, wait. I thought that was a girl.
I thought so
I'm a
as,
king of
as
swingers,
well.
boy, at the jungle VIP. Always should top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering
Hey,
No,
me.
this
wait,
kid
hold on.
feet.
No, wait,
Hey.
no. I get it. Children all have some type of androgyny because they're not fully developed, but that looks like an actual little girl. What the fuck?
It kind of does.
I don't know either, dude.
I think it's the
Hey,
eyelashes,
Cole.
but boys actually do have longer
No,
eyelashes
no.
than girls.
We do.
No,
Hey, Colt, this kid
no.
actually knows my clothing style, you know? We both wear flannel.
Oh,
So
God.
the whole thing was that Mowgli was a kid who was an orphan working in the coal mines of Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Hey,
who-
all right. Children yearn for
And
the
the
coal
miners
mines.
just called him Boy. He didn't actually have a name. He just lived here. And then life was just shit for him forever until a crazed Sabat Gangrel looked and said, "Huh, little boy," and they just ran over and just embraced him, ditched him off in the woods, and then he woke up, figured out what he was, and just said, "Oh shit, I'm late for work," and he just ran right back to the coal mines.
Got off the
And-
miners for a while, but he did get revenge on his sire because he told the miners a bunch of iron over there. They blew it up, and that's where his sire was sleeping.
I was actually quite quite clever.
Miners!
Hey, I'm simply gonna say this here. After looking at their stat sheet, surprisingly for a child, they can fight real good.
Oh yeah.
Sabat domesticated him when they found
Yes.
him.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense now.
And he said, "I blew up my sire, and I feel no guilt about it." And he just went off and just kept working in the coal mines until Sabat found him and said, "And why are you doing a night job as you know you're a vampire, right?" He said, "No." And so he just took him to New Hampshire, taught him what he was, and they thought it was funny that he was like this kid Gangrel, so he started calling him Mowgli. And then he said, "Well, it's the first time anyone's actually given me a name," so he just decided that was his name.
He didn't read the
So he
book because he probably can't read.
He despite not getting along with the lupine, he models his pack after the lupine. Only Gangrel who can turn into wolves are allowed to join.
That's kind of
And-
funny,
Yeah,
actually.
another thing. Yeah, he's a pack leader. This is
And
let me say this very clear here. I like the concept of children vampires, just because the sheer juxtaposition that is a child and also what a vampire is. That's why I like them so much.
It's like that
Guys,
one
guys,
fucked
guys,
episode
clip
of
this, clip this. Put him out of context.
No.
the whole thing with Mowgli is that he knows about Pendragon. He heard that Pendragon came in and just killed everybody in New Hampshire. And very much like Mowgli and Shere Khan, he thinks that Pendragon's full of shit and is challenging Pendragon directly. And that's his plot
the
point.
fucking balls on this kid, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's
Dude,
a
this
blood
kid's
hunt on
clever.
him, but it's
That's
never
awesome.
succeeded.
Because as it turns out, shall I read off the stat block? Strength 4, Dexterity 5, Stamina 5, Charisma 5, Manipulation 4, Appearance 4, Perception 5, Intelligence 2, Wits 4, Duration 10, by the way. Alertness 4, Brawl 5, Dodge 5, Intimidation 5, Leadership 4, Scrounging 2, Streetwise 4, Coal Mining 2, Firearms 4, Firewalking 5. This man can look directly into fire and not go into Rot Shrek. Melee 4, Stealth 5, Throwing 3, Kindred Lore 2, New England Knowledge 3, Occult 2, Animalism 4, Celerity 4, Fortitude 5, Obfuscate 2, Obtenebration
What the
4,
He's a
fuck?
bro.
What? How?
Protean 5, Presence
That's
2,
awesome.
Path of Honorable Accord 6.
Wait,
What the
that's the
fuck
point that
is
truly confused me. This man follows the
man?
path of honorable accord. That for a loop.
This is a child following a path of enlightenment, and he's on level 6 of it.
I mean, wait, how long is this? I didn't realize. I didn't read carefully enough. How long has this guy been a vampire?
Since 1830.
Ah, shit, he's been around for a while. Then fuck.
Yep.
He's
I-
not even an Ancile yet, and he's that strong.
I have a theory that the reason why there's a bunch of kid vampires in first edition books is because
If I remember correctly, at least with first edition of VTM, a lot of it was based off of Interview with the Vampire, and you had a child vampire in the story named Claudia.
Which is true.
So I'm assuming that's why they made it into a trend in first
Well, no,
edition.
you're right about that, because how many times did Interview with a Vampire get brought up in a related viewing, in a recommended viewings?
A shit ton.
To be honest here, I had an interview of a vampire appear to me in YouTube, but not a lot lately anymore.
See, there's By the way, Kyle, I'm noticing we got in a general call on the server. We got 2 people in the game room that have been there for 7 hours.
Oh, really?
They're just shit.
Jesus
We
Christ.
got.
Let's
Oh
see here.
no!
Let's see.
No,
What-
it's
what if I
JoJo and
grabbed both of them by their legs and dragged them both in here?
FreePunjabiMovies.com.
Wait a second.
Why,
Before we.
what are you doing?
No, it's too late. Sorry,
bro?
Oh my God! Now
Then I
he's in here.
dragged both of you in here.
No, no, no.
Oh
Johnny,
my God.
no.
Say the N word. Say the
Johnny
N word.
just drives
Say the N word. Say the N word. Say the N word. Say the N word. Say
Calm
the
down,
N
calm
word.
down.
Say the N word. Say the N word. Say
What
the
is
N word.
happening?
Okay,
Bro,
wait,
we're disorienting them. Yay.
Johnny, we missed a Malkavian that actually is not really a Malkavian.
Hang on,
We
what?
missed the Malkavian.
How do we miss
Do
that?
it.
Fang,
Please do it.
Fang is a
Yes.
part of the KOL, but she's tricking everyone. She's neither American nor a Malkavian. She is actually a Ronin Gaki Oriental undead,
Ah.
They left.
and she's here as vengeance for the British because they took Hong Kong.
Oh yeah.
No, she's the one. If you couldn't tell, she's the one Asian bitch.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
did forget. Oh, there's a character. Yeah, Effie Fong.
Feng.
Yeah, that
Oh,
Fang.
Fang,
Yeah,
Fang.
because there's no way.
And
She
I will
is a like proto Kuei Jin before they really really knew what they wanted to do with Kuei Jin.
Interesting.
And if you look at, if you can look, I forget this here. Her
Yeah,
abilities is
there she
weird.
is.
No. If you look at her stat sheets under one of her disciplines, I think it was Way 5.
And what does that do? Well, fuck you. You don't get an explanation.
Well,
I
to be
get to
clear,
make it up.
To be clear, I think it's in the earlier editions for Avalon where you can find the stats for that ability. Again, this is very early editions.
And she's here, and she's a Chinese infiltrator before they really knew what they wanted to do with the Kuei Jin.
Where's the Chinese flag? The emoji here on Discord. There's too many flags.
Okay.
The Rift discipline where you don't get told what it does.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, it was called the Rift. Thank you.
And
When
then,
I will say
Tolerate
this-
her.
Go on.
and
They tolerate her because she just hates the British so much, and she's really powerful.
Finally, I found the Chinese
And
flag.
I will say this here to clarify: there are Asian people at this time period in America, but they're all in the Midwest, not
yes,
here.
they're building the railroads. And
Yeah.
then when
They're
you
like-
actually get the adventure module for this book, Howler went deeper into this than I did. But
Oh yes,
Uh,
I
but
went
the-
very deep. I read this whole book.
all right, so character creation, everybody. Everybody gets to make a vampire character. Who do you pick?
Wait, I get to make a vampire?
There it is.
Tremere as
I'm-
always, obviously.
We're doing this the same way we did with the what was it, the Chicago by Night episode.
I wasn't there for that, so I'm
Yeah.
clueless.
Let's see.
I watched the
Oh,
video.
yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so just make up fake characters for yourselves.
Yeah. Okay. To be a giant fuckwit, I'm going to be a Setite.
A Setite.
Disgusting.
To be a
Yes.
fuckwit. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get the character creation music going.
This is so
Let's
dumb.
go ahead. Let's go ahead.
Is this the character
My-
creation
It
music?
is character creation music. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to be a Setite, and her entire character's stick is going to be belly dance. So.
There goes the sexy Setite.
You know what?
Um,
I haven't played Jess Parker in a while. I should play as Jess Parker, the Bruja.
Is she going to have the Yoru part of her mind like we did in the playthrough?
The what?
Like there was her when you played her, and then there was her when I played as her.
I basically played her as you know, just a
Yeah,
just
like a whole like
pathological
split mind thing going on.
manipulator.
Yeah, that's 2 minds.
Okay, this will be easy. I'm a Tremere, and I'm here to get the rogue fucker and kill him. Oh no, had to bring him back.
Yeah.
Yeah, find out what that
Good luck
idiot
with
is.
that. Sure.
And then we got Victor playing as the one character who always plays as Victor himself.
Make that
Bro,
name,
bro.
make that voice again. Cold. Was that Trish?
No, I think it might have been. My throat's a little fucked right now, so I was just trying to be somebody else.
The
Wait,
secret
wait,
werewolf
Trish
is
again?
actually
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
What's the time period of this
1900.
game?
Tissue, give me a half sec.
Okay, so Victor's non-verbal at this time.
There
He
is.
doesn't
He's-
talk until the 1980s.
He's non-verbal. He's non-binary, and that's his character.
No,
Alright, there
he's
we go, that's enough character
non-verbal
creation
and he's
music.
a cuck.
Anyway,
Now, the way this adventure begins, that begins with you in a tavern, like a D&D campaign.
no, you mean a pub? Get it right.
It is. You
We're not
begin
in
in.
fucking oh wait, we're ruled by the British. Never mind. Still.
Yeah, you go over here, And then you just go ahead. Everybody gets a drink, even though you're vampires. You drink blood. Liquor does nothing for you as a vampire. Because
Maybe you just want to wet your whistle.
unless
Sometimes
you,
you just like the
dir-
sensation.
unless you directly inject it into your veins, it does nothing for you.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what they're
Even
doing
then, why the
then.
fuck would you do that?
Right, here is.
So you get attracted by somebody. A guy who's chewing gum like Dominic Mysterio walks up to you and he introduces himself as Jude. Sorry, one person. Sherry is her name. And she walks up to you and says, hey, if you know around here, what do you like for starters? And then she goes over, she works at the bar. She tells you about this guy called Jude, and she says you gotta meet up with Jude later, who's big in a kindred society, and that she recognizes that you're vampires, and that you gotta go and you gotta help out the redcoats.
Why
It's
we gotta
better.
have out the redcoats?
Who are the
Except the
redcoats
redco-
and why should we care?
And then
Yeah,
the
exactly.
redcoats come in, and they go over to Sherry and say, "Oh, Sherry, it's nice to see you again. I'm the British man. My name is Jack Daniels."
Actually,
No,
Yeah,
he smells like it, but his name is naturally Jack Daniels.
I'm calling him
Victor
that then.
just Victor
and
just
they-
shrugs his shoulders and then he's thinking about like the drinks and then he like pretends that he's like taking shots, like imaginary shots, to see if he can feel anything, but doesn't.
and then the
Darcy, there's
virtues
her name.
and then the virtue signal encounter happens where some hikers begin harassing Sherry, and the redcoats go, "Oh, mate, that's not very nice of you." And then this whole fight happens in the middle of the bar with the redcoats and the bikers.
I'll go
And-
fight
and
the
that's why
bikers because hell, I'm not gonna let a woman be pushed around. I'm just
Yeah,
part
I
of the
will.
feminist icon.
Oh, you
No,
got-
no. Pull her hair. Pull her hair. Go rougher. I'm joking.
And then
Victor just starts dementing both sides of the men fighting so they can fight even more violently.
Darcy is just watching.
You know what? Because this makes no sense, my character starts fucking belly dancing on the table. Let's go.
And then the redcoats walk over to you and say, "Oh, mate, you helped us out in that fight over there. We got 2 kindred already in custody. We're going to take them back to Quentin Kane for questioning. Would you like to meet the prince?"
Why not? That's being polite. Let's meet the prince.
Sure,
Very
if
well.
he's got something to offer us.
Yeah,
Victor does thumbs up.
yes. As you get introduced to the redcoats, you find out that one of the redcoats is actually a woman. Her name is Amanda, and that the 3 other redcoats there are men. And Amanda is kind of like your DMPC for this entire module, and she brings you in to over to not even the prince's place. You just go over to the Back Pay pub to interrogate Zechariah Slane and find out what he knows. And do we get to know what it is in a moment? No, but we just keep going.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, the redcoats look over and say, "Oh, I actually need to be sure. We actually don't know if we're on the same page or not. Are you actually part of the Camarilla? Or are you
No.
part of with Warwick?" And depending on what you answer, they either beat the shit out of you, or they they team up with you.
Okay, what are we? Are we working with the Redcoats or are we with Warwick?
My character simply says I am independent.
Yes, we're independent for right now. I guess that's the best thing.
So you're
If there's
anarchs,
something
eh?
in it
Well,
for me, I'll
if you
do
know
your
No,
dirty
no,
work.
no. We're not anarchs. We're independent. I don't follow the Camel of the Anarchs. I swear loyalty to my clan.
if you know what's good for you, you actually side with Warwick. He's the one that knows how to run a city right. Better than the Camarilla do.
Is that so?
Sure. I'll follow his lead. Sure. In this moment, I am Camarilla.
You then get dragged off and find Jude Franken, who does not trust you. He's all freaked out and roughed up by the Liberation Front of the Camarilla, and basically just like a bunch of blah 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 shit happens until the setting finally gets on, and we're finally done with the whole preamble. We can actually play the plot now because there's Amanda joins your party, or you just end up going off on your own, depending on how the answers went. And that's your chaotic start to the module.
Yeah.
And that,
It sounds like kind of a mess, if I'm being honest.
yeah, well, that's
Yes,
how
this
most of
place
these
is a
games
mess.
started.
Well, it's working now.
So then you're off on your own. If the redcoats captured you, You'll be released with a grave warning. If the redcoats are on your side, everything's cool. You just get to go explore the city and just wait until the plot starts to happen again. Let's see. Going.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So the characters remain passive what you selected. If the characters just watch everything that's going on, Slain, who was the vampire that they were interrogating before, they didn't even go to the prince. They just stake him, and then the Slain dies, and then that's the end of that. And they say, "Hey, this is going to happen to you, mate, if you go against the prince," and they just leave.
Victor just shrugs his shoulders again.
What the fuck just
He's
happened?
fucking clueless.
And then what happens is that you're approached by a Nosferatu ghoul that says, "Hey, what's going on here? What's the deal with you?"
Well, I can only speak for myself. I have been press ganged into this.
Did the redcoats take you to the prince? They didn't actually take you to the prince. Let me take you to the prince.
I'm back. I disconnected. Sorry.
Yeah. And that Nosferatu ghoul will then lead you over to Quentin King, who looks over at you. And Quentin King tries to big dog you, but we know his character. We know that he's bluffing.
No, he's a pussy.
I'll play
he's-
dumb
Victor
just so
actually-
he'll spill some shit to me, and then I'll start rooting through shit later.
He goes, "Oh,
Victor
I
actually
am-
sleeps through his monologue.
Let me
Just
this is the voice I want to do for Quentin King. I am the king around this place. Did you not help my redcoats against the guy who was conspiring to overthrow my city?"
Well,
Yes.
we helped him fight off a bunch of punks, sure.
No, you might have helped my redcoats, but you need loyalty to me in the Triad if you're going to operate my city.
Okay.
A triad.
Now, I need you to know that you can't be passive. You need to help me out here. The Camarill's trying to ruin what we got going on here.
Aren't you technically also the Camarilla, but just in Europe?
We are, but you see, the Camarilla doesn't necessarily see eye to eye all the time.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, considering we're part of the bigger whole, but there's within the bigger whole, right?
Victor's still snoring. He's drooling.
So to make sure that you're on the same page as us, can you go check on Tremere and make sure they're not trying to ruin everything we got going on here?
When you
Sure,
heard the
why
word
not?
Tremere,
I
like
go over and throttle Victor.
yeah, exactly. Like Victor, like instantly snaps out of sleep.
You stupid
like,
motherfucker.
Like you know how like we open a can with a cat and then the cat like starts
Just burst
freaking
through the
out.
wall.
Yeah.
Darcy
Like
just remains
SpongeBob.
quiet.
It's-
Like I am, Jameer, but alright.
He's all excited and shit.
Throw
So-
him.
So by this point, Slane's dead. Well, like if Slane survived the whole encounter and you got your hands on Slane, Slane would just spill her guts out to you for safety. If you roll 3 successes, if you rolled 4 successes, they would tell you about Mowgli as a character in that case. And then if you got 5 successes, they would say, "Hey, there's the witchcraft in Salem. There's this crazy Tremere book over there, but because Slane is dead in our chronicle, that doesn't happen."
Yep.
And then we go on to chapter 2.
Chapter
then-
2.
And there we go. So scene 1 begins. You go to a bookstore for this scene. It's the next night, by the way.
Oh yeah, Victor's gonna be
This-
reading those books.
This actually
He's
made
gonna-
me pause. Like when I was reading, it's like, oh, the Twilight books. I was like, excuse me, what the fuck?
Yeah, Twilight
Like,
books.
oh wait, no, that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, you're
Bro, Victor's gonna be reading the Torah, man. What else
You're-
is he gonna read?
you're sent this way because the only leads you have as Sword of Tremere is a bookstore receipt that Quentin King gives you. And that's it. That's the best you
Victor
got to work
sniffs the
with.
receipt and then he like folds it up
Eat
and
it.
puts it underneath his tongue to save for
Yes.
later.
Yes.
Yes, your tongue. It's gonna get all wet and mushy. Put it in behind your ear.
Nah, and then he pulls it out and he puts
Shrek,
it
put
behind
in
your
your
ear, taking your advice. You
I'm
know,
not
like
touching that.
it has like a guilty smile, like as if saying sorry.
Oh, and by the way, you have a very narrow time window. This bookstore closes at 10.
Actually, we gotta go.
Yep, he books for it.
You go over there and you're met by this geriatric man called Theo, who's over there, and he says these young college whippersnappers don't know what the fuck they're talking about. He tries to sell you a book that's called Discovering the Goddess Within You because he's ordered it in bulk and he has too many copies of it.
Victor grabs a copy.
You
gonna-
gotta buy these off of me, man. I overordered.
And they're looking around. If the character, do you ask Theo if he knows about Slain?
Yeah, sure.
Victor can't talk, he could write it down on paper if he could.
Yeah, he says, "Oh yeah, there's a guy called Slain who bought a book off of me for $30. What about Slain?
Do you know the book that he had? Do you have another copy?
That was a book about witchcraft in Salem.
Can we have it?
Yeah, there's a copy of it over there. I have another copy of it.
How much for it?
$30.
All right.
Yes. And because you have points and resources, you buy the book for $30, and then do you press him for information?
I mean, how much would he know? Bro probably just came in here to get a book.
Would anyone like to use Dominate on him?
Victor has
I'm a
dementation.
Bruja, I do not have Dominate.
Make him go crazy.
Tremors have Dominate.
And after that, Theo says, "All right, I'll lie to you about what book he bought. He didn't actually buy the Salem Witch book. I just lied to you about that because I really wanted to sell that book. He actually bought a book called About the Author."
I hit him with the book.
The author.
Yes. He bought that book because he told me about there's this, because he's looking for a guy called Van Dorn who wrote that book, and he was using a copy of his book to buy his good graces into speaking with Van Dorn.
Van Dorn? Who's Van Dorn?
And that's the plan. And then you go off in the scene 2 is called The Golden Banana. I wonder where this is going.
Oh boy.
Oh, hell yeah, Victor likes the sound of this.
Yes, you go to a gay bar called The Golden Banana in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Oh, fuck, this would not exist.
All right,
to find where Van Dorn is.
So Victor goes into the BDSM den, and starts beating the crap out of people and following safe words, and he gets hella freaky.
How does this exist during this time period?
Yeah, the only reason this is here is because it's not like a gay bar, but it's like a bar that's known to have a gay clientele.
All right.
So it's a gay bar.
Yeah, but before they could come out in the open with it.
It is a bar that just happened to have a lot of rainbows up.
And then you go down there, and even though they employ women to dance there, we know that you're not actually going there for the women.
I might be.
Yep.
And they're all beards. And the reason why you're here is because Slain worked here, and then you're trying to pick up more information on Slain, but why would you really know this if you did not kill Slain already? So the scene is entirely pointless. We move on to scene 3.
Yep.
Right. So you go on. You're given another little key bit about Slain. As it turns out, the Redcoats find out that they're working with the prince, and you're given a little hint. There was an appointment book from Slain's coat pocket that was dated 2/8 and 2/9 called Hillside Mortuary 11 p.m. So we gotta go find out what's going on there. So he goes up to the Hillside Mortuary in Cambridge to find out what's going on there. And then what happens is that you look around, and you go around looking around the mortuary, and you may or may not find nothing if you don't get enough successes.
Victor uses Auspex to see if he can find something better.
Yes. And you're able to get you use Auspex, you find out that Slain was here or something. He was being somebody who was obfuscating their presence. We found out all we can here off to scene 4.
Yep.
All right.
Tourist trap.
Yeah, the tourist trap. We go all the way over here. You go all the way down to Salem to find out what was going on here because we have a little Salem connection. We gotta go meet Van Dorn at long last. You go over here, and it's this big, like, witchy-looking house that Van Dorn lives in. And you go ahead, head over to his house. Looking at here, you meet a person called Artemis, who's like the live-in maid. Is that right? Howler is the maid?
Maid / tourist guide.
Yeah. And she says, "Oh, you want to meet Mr. Van Dorn? I can go over and I can help you meet Mr. Van Dorn." And then you go over there. As it turns out, Van Dorn's whole thing is that he's a member of the Cloven Hoof Coven. He's Nefandi. Probably.
Yeah. The demon worshiper.
Oh shit! I know what I must do. I know what I must do. I disembowel him. His corpse.
Can't
And if you
tolerate the demon worshippers.
and if you pay Artemis $8.50, she will take you to Van Doren.
How much was that during that time?
Yes, I need about $8.50. See her.
$8.50. I'll help you
Yeah,
kill
like
this man.
if I were to give a rough estimate, at this time period, dollars are worth basically tens nowadays. So big
This
money.
was worth $290.
Now
Still
shit.
kinda,
You know
still
what?
kinda cheap.
I'm in
Kill
luck.
your boss.
You know what? You know what, Johnny? I'm in luck. I put a lot of points into resources. I can afford it.
You bought 2 different books for $30, of course.
I've got
Obviously.
a whole bunch of dexterity and a little bit of subterfuge and larceny. I can probably steal it.
And so you go along
Victor
with them,
has the 3 dots to obfuscate.
and Artemis says, "Oh, hold on, man, I need to do a whole tour. I can't let Mr. Van Dorn know you're coming up to him and you're vampires. I gotta do this whole tour. So just go along with me, my whole tour guide, my ghost tour. And then after you do the tour, you finally get to meet Van Dorn. Amazing. You get pulled on this massive goose chase. Now, you could have just held Artemis capture hostage at gunpoint and then forced your way into Van Dorn's house. But either way, you end up in Van Dorn's house. And then you go over here, and there's 2 different pages in here, page 78 and 79. There are maps of Van Dorn's house. And then you get taken over to Van Dorn's house and into the witch house after doing this whole tour of the area. Slane's dead, so we don't get to bring up Slane for this book. And you did not side with Amanda, so she's not with you either. And then skipping here to the actual relevant information. Van Dorn isn't home, by the way. Feel free to rob him.
Oh, Wilco.
Yep, basically, that's what Victor does too.
I'm rolling Dex and larceny.
But then when you go over here, you find a missing page, and you think it says Hillside Mortuary, 11 p.m. Oh, this must have been from his apartment book. So he was the one that Slane was meeting, and that was the reason why Slane bought the book, to get Van Dorn's attention. His whole thing. And then we're waiting for Van Dorn to show up, and there's a woman here with a voodoo doll in one of these pictures. And then while you're having this conversation looking for Van Dorn, you're attacked by some more crows.
A bunch of crows attack us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I will punch them.
A murder has approached.
Victor stole some jewelry from in the house, so he's gonna throw all the shiny stuff to see if the crows will go to the shiny stuff instead.
You know what? Here, my character was built weird. Even though I said I was a belly dancer, I have potence. I pick up rock, I throw rock, and I just keep going.
Here's where I will introduce my path. Whatever that path is, let you shoot fire out your fucking
Path
hand.
of Lower Flames.
Lower
There we
flame.
go.
Yep.
Lower flames, because you can never go wrong with fire. It kills like 80%.
Wait,
of
hold
super-
on. Wait, my ally, ignite turn my rocks into meteors. We shall burn the sky.
Sure, why not?
boy.
And after you fight away all the crows, you find out that all the witches that Van Dorn has in his coven are here. And then you get into a massive fight with all these different Nefandi witches.
Oh shit, man!
Yeah.
I fuck each and every one of them as they die. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I'm sure glad we have a
Basically-
Tremere and a Brewhub with us.
Basically, Victor like he's like the bait. He's like the distraction. He pulls.
No. I am
puts
not
on the
a
trench coat,
I am a
and he's all
set
butt
type.
ass naked, and then they stand like dumbfounded for a
he's
second.
Yeah. No, set tights.
Set
There
tight,
is.
sorry.
Yeah, I am
Oh
of the
my God,
warrior
wait, that's
caste.
worse. You're a Bach. You're an SN of a Tremere, alright.
Yeah. Let's summarize here. I forget the name of it here, but I am the warrior caste of the Setites. Go fuck yourself.
And then with while you're having this fight with these witches, all of a sudden a gangrel vampire just runs in, gets your attention, and says, "You need to get the fuck out of here. Here, follow me."
Victor goes with them. He immediately follows.
The gangrel's
tip
name is
over a
Sarah
desk
Rains,
and
and
then
she
I'll
says
join.
you're about to get killed by Nefandi and sacrificed to demons if you continue this fight.
Alright, well, I gotta go.
You couldn't fucking help us?
No, we gotta
Yes.
go.
Well, it's mages.
I run. I run as I run. I shout.
I'll
Kiss
flip
my
a
ass.
table over, then I'll run.
Is. And
Yeah.
if Slane was still alive, there'd be an entire section of this where Slane gets captured and dragged to the witch house, and then you have to do this whole heroic mission to save Slane. And he's dead, so we're not doing that.
Yep, basically. In other words, Victor tries to figure out what kind of animal
this gangrel has an affinity to, so he could go play with this animal.
Sarah says that she is a gangrel who was captured by the witches, and her blood was leaked from her body to be used for witch spells. And that she's been wanting to get revenge on the witches ever since, but they're witches. You can't really do that as a vampire. I mean, we've got one gangrel vampire versus how many, Nefandi?
Yeah,
A
which is
lot.
That's a
they may not
lot.
be brawlers, but if they can get their distance from you and start doing their little spell casting.
And especially if they get a copy of your hair, your true name, or they know what your face looks like, they can just kill you remotely.
Your soul is mine, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Victor's smart enough to pick and choose his battles. He may be insane, but he ain't stupid. Sometimes.
And then there's a whole thing here where Slane's saying he's person suspicious, and then like Sarah and Slane fight, but Slane's dead, so we're not doing that. And then we can just skip the whole witch house part because it's kind of like an extra mission, so to speak.
Oh yeah,
It's a
Victor's
side quest.
thinking about
Fair.
Brothers Grimm fairy tales, which I'm not sure if that came out yet. He's thinking of Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, so now we've got an evil Nefandi warlock going around Van Dorn. We gotta do something about that, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
Yeah, I suppose we have to do that.
So, what Sarah does that she leads you over and says, "Here's my friend," and then behold, a cross-formed werewolf steps out of the woods.
Oh no.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
fuck.
Victor.
Yes.
Victor's.
Oh wait, hold
good
on.
like-
Let's see this here. Ooh woo.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
full
Victor's
transform
getting in
werewolf
the
just steps
face.
out.
Victor's gonna make himself the bait again, so you guys can do something.
I am paralyzed in fear. I might be a manipulative bitch and a fighter, but that is
I
scary.
don't want to fuck with a werewolf. Is it? Can we see if it's decorated anything? I want to. I think this is the Wendigo that we know.
Yeah, he is the Wendigo. Yes.
Yeah. It was to summarize it here.
backing
Is he
away
just standing there, or
slowly.
is he going out, or is he trying to kill us?
Well, that depends how many white people are in this group.
Me.
I'm not. I'm
Victor is
Egyptian,
Sephardic
actually.
Jew,
No.
so
I'm
he's
a
brown.
In that case, he says, "What the fuck are all the white people doing here?" And he gets in a fight with you.
Wait, there's only one
burning my
white bitch.
celerity
Wait,
and
hold
booking
on.
it.
And after the meeting goes horribly wrong, and it turns out Sarah made a massive mistake trying to introduce you to Iroquois, which is his name. He says, "You know what? Fuck this shit," and he leaves the story and never appears again.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
hold on. I want to defend myself. Most of us aren't white. There's only like one white bitch here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Howard.
No, she is miles away
Well,
now. I burned my
mean, I'm
celerity, got the fuck out of there.
I mean, according to Ends the Road,
Jews are white, so Victor's.
Can I use my
no,
fucking
no.
fire like a fucking jet and fly away?
Yes.
I need to get out of
You gotta make sure this vampire, this werewolf doesn't have Master of Fire.
yeah,
You are not
exactly.
young
Victor's a
from
Sephardic
Fantastic
Jew.
Four.
He's
Get back
fucking
here.
brown like a
I'm trying to
Mexican.
get away.
No, hold on. Let me just say this here. You are not Johnny from Fantastic Four. Get your ass back here.
So after that happens and all the excitement from that calms down, you think to yourself, "Hang on a minute, we gotta find Van Dorn, but the only lead we really have is back to the mortuary because we never really did find out what was going on with the mortuary." And so, whether or not you continue to work with Sarah is up to you. And then you go back over. We run over. Hang on, back to the mortuary. Give me a minute. Flipping through the pages. If everyone is a POC, then Iroquois will help you.
Yeah,
But-
Victor's basically a POC, I guess. He's
But you had to have known that first. And
yeah,
then,
I guess. I don't know. I mean, bro just does one of those long ass chants.
Alright.
and then Sarah says, "Well, hold on a minute. He's not actually going back to the mortuary. He's going to Silverbrook." And but Silverbrook, you assume it's a town, but Sarah doesn't actually know what Silverbrook is supposed to be. And so you have to go around and you ask around, which of the vampire clans in the area are we going to go to approach to about this?
What's just the closest?
You're in Salem. We got to drive back to Boston.
No. If I was to say go to a clan, go to Nosferatu. They always do it.
Yeah, okay, I'm okay with that.
You drive back to Boston. You go talk to Jared Dory. And she says, "Huh? You guys looking for a Silverbrook? Hey, man, let me give a friend a call, and she'll go over.
Victor literally raises his hand as if he's in school, like me.
She'll
The moment you
step.
raise your hand, my character breaks your arm and puts it back down.
Yeah, she'll hand you a newspaper and then walk off screen, and then she comes back 10 minutes later and says, "Oh yeah, I know where it is. It's here's the address you're looking for."
Oh, that was easy.
Like, trying
Thanks.
not to cry, you know.
I will
and then
give
he, like,
I
pops
will
his
I will
arm
give
back
him
in
some
5
money
minutes
that I
later.
stole from somebody else.
Hold on. My character says, "Calm down, Victor. I didn't break it fully. Just reattach it."
Yes.
And then he gives you like little puppy eyes, like
Just spit,
tries to
spit some
guilt trip
VT
you.
on it and put it back on. It's not that hard.
Shut up. I'll break the other one too.
Colt, I forget what you are. What are you again?
Oh, I'm just Parker, the brewer.
Parker the Bruja. Oh, all right.
Peter Parker.
That's like the most violent one here.
And then during this part of the chapter comes chapter 3, where it turns out Slain was evil the entire time and tries to sacrifice you to the Fondiness, but Slain is dead, so we do not have to worry about that.
Literally,
Yay.
Victor does the Kevin from Home Alone face, you know, where he has both his hands on his face and yelling and shit.
Ah! So
Wait,
you go over
is this Nexus crawler here yet?
well, not yet. So what happens is that you go over to Silverbrook Manor. I don't think they really list where this is exactly. Silverbrook Manor is wherever you want it to be, I guess.
Yep.
And is 10 acres of land surrounded by pine trees. And you go over here, you're thinking, oh, we're going to find fucking Witchman Van Dorn and figure out what he's trying to do with the Tremere if he has any sort of connection at all. We got to get some answers here. You go over here and you find out that the place is filled with French-Canadian decorations. You know, because Quebec has a very distinct look and all.
Victor
guess.
throws up because it's French.
It is a French-Canadian. And
French.
you step in, you see it's filled with suits of armor, medieval tapestries, silver candelabras. You definitely know something's going on here. And then behold, reality just rips open a hole, and Nexus Crawler calls into the room.
Oh, nope.
Burning Celerity booking it again.
Hold on.
Get outta here.
I know this is the wrong error. But oh no, bad tentacles back.
Like Victor, you know, of course he runs away too, but before, well, what he does is that he quickly grabs on to Peter. Wait, is that his name? Peter?
Jess Parker.
Hey,
Oh,
Peter.
Parker. Sorry. I was thinking Peter Parker. Sorry. He grabs onto Parker's shoulders and he like fucking flies like a cape in the wind while holding on to him.
But the
And he's
Nexus Crawler does
praying
not
to
see
God.
you. The Nexus Crawler opens another hole in reality and then crawls into that hole. So now you have a lurking Nexus Crawler where you have to be very, very quiet, or else the Nexus Crawler pops out and kills you.
You
And-
know
Okay.
what? You know what I should do in this situation? I look to my allies and says, "Who doesn't mind being yeeted through the sky?"
No, better idea. We go find the chick that saved us from the Coven of Witches. We tell her to tell the big scary werewolf about the big scary interdimensional spider and let them deal with it.
That's
Sarah,
a good
Sarah,
point.
Werewolves?
yes, Sarah's here. Sarah's here. She'll hear that. And she'll run off to do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and,
That's handled. Great. Let's move on.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Victor
okay, exactly. Here, and also, I really wanted to throw something. You nerd. As I grab the fucking lanky motherfucker and yeet him through the air.
Yeah, literally, and Victor was planning this because he wants to prove that he has what he calls a little piece of Yahweh in him, and he pulls a mirror to show Meep in the reflection, which is actually a wild spirit, to the freaking Wendigo or some shit.
Well, the Wendigo ain't here yet, but
No,
we gotta keep looking.
I'm gonna vacate the premises now that the Wendigo's been, getting called. So let's move on somewhere else where the giant interdimensional spider is not.
Howler, do you keep investigating?
We're moving. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yes. So if you had the stones staying here, there would be a notebook you would discover that.
Wait, hold
As
on.
it turns
I
out-
would investigate. I'm sorry, I was typing at something.
Greed has the net to do this.
Yes.
Fine. You go right ahead.
So set at Greed, you go ahead and you find that there is a notebook in here written by Slain. As it turns out, Slain had more to do with Van Dorn as you thought. as you notice, take a look through here, and you find out, first page, there are conjurable demon spirits that are related to the lupines. Second page, since the dawn of this world, these demon spirits and werewolves have been arch nemesis. Page 3, demon spirits will attack werewolves on sight and vice versa. Page 4, while demon spirits called Nexus Crawlers can use blood to manifest themselves physically, they are actually derive deeper spiritual nourishment by feeding off the terror they cause their victims. Page 5, this type of demon lusts after physical forms. In werewolf terms, it might indistinctly be like referring to material plane, like the Umbra will be brought up, but you don't know what that is. And then
Victor might have an idea. He's thinking of
Because
John
I'm a
Carmack
Sentai.
and John Romero.
Because of my Sentai origins, I say, yes, servants of App.
you go ahead, you walk up with the notebook and you say, hey, check this out, look what I found in the basement.
Or
Alright.
Popo. I forget. What's the name of the serpent from Egyptian mythology that wants to eat the universe?
Apophis.
Yes.
Apophis, thank you.
And you find out that these Nefandi are specifically Malfian Nefandi, because every fucking Nefandi that appears in these books is Malfian.
That's surprising. When there's a religious center, really? Malfian?
Yeah, you never seen an Infernalist Nefandi really come into these books.
No.
Man, Victor's
is
thinking
rare.
about how can I summon God's wrath to smite these fuckers?
You're not
Yeah.
being an undead abomination, first of all.
Yeah, I
Bro,
don't think
Victor
we're.
can't help that.
I don't think we're in the right. I don't think we're in the right state of mind to be able to summon an exorcism for whatever the fuck this thing is.
You
Or
know, that ritual.
how about this one here? Are you an exorcist? Or are you trained in religious law and theology?
Not really. I mean, if you
Then
think of it.
why the hell you asking can you do that? Shut the hell up.
Bro, he's freaking Jewish, man. He's just trying to comfort himself, dog.
Shut up. I'll break your leg
Is it-
too.
Is it our job
Can
to
we
kill
stop
this thing?
arguing and
We were
let's just get
supposed
the
to-
fuck out of here, please?
Alright, let's
go.
leave. Alright, let's leave.
See, as you check this out, you read through this, you find these different notes about Slane and Van Dorn were trying to summon the Nexus Crawler. As you saw before, they succeeded.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, they made it so nothing can summon it. So I am such a goddamn bully.
Right. And then the last page is just Slane having just taken it like a pencil and like shoved it into the paper so hard it's torn and ripped the page, just the giant word failure on the page.
So
Man,
should we go over and
freaking-
tell them they succeeded, or should we just let the werewolf take care of it?
No. She's no. The person that ran are always going to inform the world. So it's not our business anymore.
Yep, we are
Okay.
no longer needed here. This is not a part of our job.
Cool.
And
let
then
the
there
werewolf
was-
take care of
if-
it. Let's go.
And then if Slane was still alive, this would be where reading the notebook would help them realize what they were, that they were actually an evil vampire, and that like they're working with Van Dorn, and Van Dorn used a spell to wipe Slane's memories, and then Slane summons the Nexus Crawler and you have a whole boss fight, but that doesn't happen because Slane died at the start of this mission.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then that's it really. And then thinking of what else happens in this page, this book really banks on you having Slane alive, but at
But
the
we
same
killed
time,
him.
he could die at
We
the
kinda
first
fucked
scene.
his day up.
So, looking through this part, I'm trying to find parts of this that doesn't directly involve Slane.
We may have caused a war between
Yeah, I
James
think
and
we
James.
kinda
killed him.
fucked up because we killed
You already
Slane.
killed him off like the first. You killed him off during the first
Yeah,
scenario.
yeah. I guess what the book wanted you to do is that they wanted you to, like, convince the Redcoats to not do it, but there was like no reason to not do it.
Well, that was the point. It involved actually developed characters to actually try to save Slane.
Yeah,
because-
no.
And then, so flipping through this, the rest of this whole thing just involves fucking Slane. And then there's the whole boss fight section. Oh, I guess because the Slane isn't here, the next scroll just pops out now.
Yep.
You guys think you can handle that?
what
Mm.
The
What-
Nexus Crawler's here. Well,
I
Again,
don't want to fight a Nexus crawler.
I don't know. Those things, that was big and scary.
No, I don't
looking.
want to
They
fight the
turn your
Nexus crawler.
bones to jelly.
Let me
Look,
make
I
this
can
clear.
fight
It will-
things
let me
that
be
look
very
like
clear.
me.
I may not have a soul, but I will find a way to rape it.
All right. Well. Here's the whole thing. That thing only has 10 levels of health. Don't worry about it.
I don't care.
That's not
We'll find a way to raise my soul.
No. Even
It's
with
not
my
the issue,
even with
Johnny.
my
You know that's not the issue.
even with my potence, no.
And then all my players are fucking pussies and don't want to finish the chronicle, and then that's it.
Nah, Victor has
That's
balls.
why I
Sorry.
said get the werewolf and let him deal with it.
I'm so sorry for assuming we can't beat something with 10 health levels. How many health levels do we got? Oh yeah, 7.
Yes. And as it
Victor
turns out,
has
the whole
balls.
thing that you realize is that from that is that the Ventru, sorry, not the Ventru, the Tremere within the Gemini League had lost the plot, lost control because John Reese is a loser who can't manage his own people, and the Tremere turned to demon worshipping with witches in order to overthrow Warwick. And that's the solution. That's the resolution.
Yeah, well, great.
Holy shit.
GG.
Wait a minute.
I just realized something. This is completely out of character. This involves nothing with the game or anything like this here. I just realized here the Weaver could make drones, give them calcify reality, and just have them hunt down mages.
Yes.
Wait a second. Aren't the Tremere fully aware of the worm because they used to be mages?
They do, but they don't take it seriously.
Yeah, to summarize here, the Tremere are aware, but only like the middle to upper echelon.
Well, you,
Because
you gotta remember,
they lost the plot with the Order of Hermes a long time ago.
Yeah,
well, you
because
gotta,
like yeah.
Well, you gotta remember, Victor kind of understands the traits because he got
Like,
a wild
how do you
spirit
describe
in
it here?
him. But he thinks of it that it's like John Romero and John Carmack are like
Hold on.
fucking
To answer your
literal.
question here a little bit here. Once you reach the upper echelons of every splat, they're all aware of each other to a degree. Some better than others, but they're all aware of each other's bullshit. But they all realize this very key and very important thing. I'm not equipped to deal with that, so I'm not going to deal with it.
And
Well, yeah, basically, it's like basically everyone indirectly knows the truth of reality in some weird
Just like,
way or
like
something.
if I'll give an example here, the maze, like the technocracy probably knows about like, yeah, there's some Karens over there, there's some vampire hive havens over there, and those some maybe fairies over there, and that's an undead realm. But if we fuck with one, that invites a lot of problems in our own entire bullshit. So let's not.
right.
Yeah,
Man.
but at the same time, they fail to realize that there's rumors of the Nefandi infiltrating their ranks.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're already very swamped trying to get with the Nefandi.
Yep.
And then what would happen after this is that Roman Pendragon would just eventually abandon New England entirely because he fell victim to the beckoning.
Oh,
Wait,
The
the fuck
beckoning
is
was
that?
so
He got-
retarded.
He got called on a spirit quest to Israel.
Let me be very clear. What the beckoning was, and again, here I'm assuming everyone here knows what the beckoning is by now. It was the writer's magical handwave to say that's why all the vampires with actual powers and actual will weight magically just left.
And then Biltmore did the same because wherever Pendragon goes, Biltmore goes too. They hate each other, but they love each other at the same time.
Victor tries to follow this beckoning thing to go to Israel, but then he accidentally
No.
goes to the northwest of America, so then he's stuck in
No.
there instead.
he went the wrong
he goes
way.
He goes the wrong way.
But
There may
But
not
that's a-
be. Sorry, go
and-
on.
And eventually Warwick would lose control over New England because 2 of his members of the Triad left. So he realized that the war was lost at Sabat before it got hot, picked up all of his things, and left for, I'm not entirely sure which state he went off to next, it doesn't say. But he's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive. And he went off and made TruckNet with the web.
Yeah, good job.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
he's-
this is like 100 years later, right?
Yeah, he's one of the two Nosferatu that made TruckNet.
Yeah, basically, and after the shenanigan adventures, Heaven's Divide beats the fuck out of Victor for being gone for so long.
So these Tremere are now Bali, right?
No.
No. That was
Well,
only
the
the,
demon
that was only the
worshippers.
witches thing. To some of it, that was only the cult and witches thing. The Tremere themselves are still just the Tremere.
And then what happened is that Warwick was doing okay in the Camarilla until Petrodon, Cock Robin, and Prudent Stone slowly start gaining more and more prominence in Nosferatu. They hated Warwick because he was successful and he told the truth. They led a coup against him in 1990. Warwick escaped with his life, and he has been hiding ever since. This is 1990.
Nice.
And then Victor applauds circa 1990. He's like,
Bravo! I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing with any of that shit back then, but I did it.
And that's your whole story. There we go.
And I had the balls to try and fight a Nexus crawler, and that did not work well.
We have some really awesome characters that honestly didn't get used in the whole adventure module for this book. For you make these characters and then you don't interact with any of them except for Quentin.
Which
Huh?
is sad because, like, you know, all of them are actually really good.
But the adventure module I thought was fine, just in case you need to run a chronicle with no preparation. It's the beginning of it's messy as shit, but
yes, it is.
you know the
Yep.
whole like slow burn that you're investigating like a witch, like some sort of unknown witch, and then it turns out there's a whole mouthy and funny connection to it, and it ends in a battle with the Nexus crawler.
Yeah,
That's all right.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, I'd say.
And there we have it. So that's your book, everybody. I actually enjoyed reading this.
I
was
thought
very
this
Yeah,
was
it
neat.
does look pretty cool.
It was
Man.
okay.
Let me just be very clear.
I like the shit post.
Water Doctor has been so much better if they just kept consistently good character building like this.
Yes. If you had
As they
really
should,
good
yes.
characters like this, and you kept using them, and didn't use stupid shit like Theo Bell.
Oh
we
no!
should- yeah.
Wait until you hear JoJo rant about how much he hates that beep,
Yes.
beep, 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 and beep, 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 beep.
This is one of those long, just censor bars that goes for like a minute.
Negro. It is pronounced Negro.
Whatever it is.
Damn it,
Hey, I
King.
can't say it, bro.
Yes.
I can't say it.
It's fine. It's fine if you say that, but all right. But yeah, that's the end of this episode.
I'll be real
Alright.
here.
Oh
I can
my
be white. I'll
goodness.
still say it. I don't give a fuck.
No,
One
you
weed,
don't.
please. I am Caucasian. One
let's go
weed,
this.
please. My
Kyle,
credit
rip that
score's
cord out. We're done with this
750.
episode.
Good
Come
night,
on.
everybody.
I'll say an Asian slur. Oh,
Yeah, end episode 1 is still fighting.